fix that. Start thinking about scrotums. Did it help?
Not really.
Well, then I don't know what to tell you. I do know what to tell you. Stop thinking about scrotums.
Stop thinking about scrotums. We are. I did hit live, by the way. Just for the stream.
So we're live when I just said to start thinking about scrotums.
Right.
Nice.
Only the best here. Yeah, I'm just waiting for everything to connect and get online, and then we can get this thing rolling.
I really gotta shove the space heater. Good thing I bought this extension cord for the headphone.
Oh baby, don't hurt me.
Oh, I can't hurt you physically, but I can hurt you in other ways.
No more.
The Jaguar is not a good system.
Do you mean the Jet Jaguar?
No, just the Jaguar. Get your
Jet Jaguar.
Genesis tries.
What Nintendo don't?
They tried their best.
Work.
Das Booten.
Still says YouTube's connecting, but I clearly see it's live.
I don't know. YouTube live is weird. I don't know if I want to use it if I ever stream again. It seems like it's really not good.
It saves me a lot of time in the editing. Let's just say that much.
I believe that. Because it's already uploaded and it's there it is. I wanna fly like an eagle.
I just found out you just started by total accident. Yep, we're just about to get going here on the Retro Gaming episode.
Who's that?
We have a viewer.
Hello, viewer!
Hello!
Can you tell me why Jessica left me?
'Cause Stacy's mom has got it going on.
Look, let me tell you, this sentence is going to sound real creepy now, but when I was in 6th grade and that video came out, the only thing I thought was, Stacy's fine too, man. You're not doing too bad. I was she's a little too old for you. I mean, she's gonna look like that probably when she's older. Play the long game here, guy.
Oh, I see what he's talking about.
You know what you're talking about.
That's okay. It's just the starting screen chat.
Oh.
Yeah.
So he didn't hear me just call Stacy hot.
Oh, no. He definitely heard that.
Right. Chris Hansen's coming to my door.
Chris Hansen.
Why don't you take a seat right over there?
Why don't you take a seat?
Right over there.
Take a seat right over there.
You do that.
Aha. Aha. Okay, everything.
Hey, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
What? What?
I want to see if I can get into the Twitch chat while we're.
No, you want the Mixer chat because I got the John Cena meme as a button you can hit.
Oh, I don't. No, which one is the guy that we're on now? Is he in Twitch or is he in Mixer?
Twitch.
All right, so I guess that's answered my fucking question now, didn't it?
Or you can get the power of the Ultimate Warrior.
I don't want to die of that failure.
Okay.
All right.
Whoa, what was that?
That was not the audio of the stream while we're on the stream.
Oh. This is the kind of quality you can expect. Oh my god. The Matrix was a documentary. Oh, shut up, Kevin. I like the cardboard cutout of yourself better. Mercy Cola was just fine. Alright. Oh, is just fine. That's present tense.
Yep.
Oh, we're in this desert. I'm so thirsty. I could drink anything. Oh, was that a vending machine? Why doesn't it say one viewer? We are two. Oh no. You tell me what Twitch's problem is.
For that little commercial segment, I should have said, cutout. Makes a great dartboard.
Makes a great dartboard and play with Nintendo.
Labo. I'm really happy that like whole thing died.
Yeah, it's not selling as much as I anticipated. That's for sure.
Because you want to know what you do after you build that giant thing?
Not much.
Yup, because the games that come with it kind of suck.
Okay, ready to get this thing started? What is this episode about? Title.
Vehicular
Title.
Combat.
Here we go. Car combat games.
You have it written down on Twitch.
E3 hype. Good system games.
You will learn what Vehicular Combat is, like WWE Crush Hour, the best vehicular combat game of all time.
Nintendo Switch Online.
This guy's getting like a behind the scenes like curtain thing. You should make this like a Patreon tier. He's getting like the pre-show. You're leaving money on the table.
I don't think we have enough for Patreon yet.
Well, not with that fucking attitude, you won't. You know, Vehicle 8, Twisted Metal, Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo Pilot, and GBA.
Okay, I'm all set to go.
I don't believe you.
But I am.
All right, good. I'm ready.
Oh, my swears. Okay.
Let's do it.
Let's fucking do it, yeah?
Oh, you are not going to quote Conor McGregor here.
Oh, is it? Okay, well. Not what I was going for, but good enough, I suppose. Yep, Mario Kart Battle Mode, that would be one of them. For sure. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Hey, welcome back. It's episode 21 of the Red Leaf Retrocast. I am joined here today by my buddy from Canada, Colin.
Woo! Hello, Internet.
The Internet welcomes you as well. I'm also joined by my exclusive host, Evan. How are you doing?
Exclusive to what?
To
what
me.
Am I exclusive? Oh, yay! Go me. I'm doing fine. I am happy. I've beaten 2 games this weekend.
Oh, what were they? And were you naked playing them?
1, yes. 2, what is it? Life is Strange Before the Storm and Kirby Star Allies.
Oh.
Life is Strange is not a game, by the way. I just want to throw that out there.
Life is Strange Before the Storm was definitely something I was disappointed in. But Kirby. I like Kirby.
Yeah. Kirby was okay, but it ain't worth $60.
I would agree with that. Luckily, I bought it for half that.
I paid $60. I had the intention of like, me and the girlfriend are going to play it together. And then she has like the attention span when it comes to games of like 10 minutes. So I was like, fuck you. I'm playing this by myself.
Well, it's a good thing the game only lasts 20 minutes.
You're not wrong.
Oh, we have a fantastic episode here. E3 is right around the corner, as many people would imagine, with all the leaks coming out. And not the dirty leaks either.
Oh, I have dirty leaks.
Well, when you get older, it kind of happens.
I'm not that old.
So what I've put together here is a lot of E3 predictions are going to be saved for the Modern Cast episode. But for the retro gaming one, just kind of like I've dubbed it "Justify Your Console Purchase." We had a sort of convince me of buying the console kind of segment for around the retro episode that came out in the Christmas time. So if you're looking at the live stream now, because we're that hardcore now with Mixer and Twitch at Bowling JD. And if you join the Mixer stream, I have put on interactive buttons so you can just annoy the hell out of us during a live stream for the podcast. Later on in the episode, we'll discuss some news such as Nintendo Switch Online, leading into something I'm going to save for later, which I'm really hyped about, and then we'll get into our main theme of the episode, which is Vehicular Combat. which is basically cars that destroy each other in one way or another.
WWE Crush Hour, nice.
Oh, we're not talking about that game because no one picked it, and it is ass.
That's why this podcast is going downhill. So I said it.
Just good.
Pick Crush Hour.
But it's fine. We have many other games to discuss, and we're actually going above and beyond our usual 6 because let's just say that there's not a lot of games to talk about for this theme, so we just got many of the bigger ones out of the way early. That's the way I'm looking at it anyways. There were some scheduling issues for a number of weeks. Luckily, Colin, you backed me up in the previous episode with the beat-em-ups, which turned out to be a raging success, apparently. A lot of people loved it.
And hated it from the sound of it.
Well, just one particular game, that's for sure.
Listen, you went out there, you insulted Sailor Moon. You got yourself some heat, you know? It's gonna follow you.
Yeah, I mean, it happens every now and again, I suppose.
You fucking weebs.
Yeah, it's also become kind of a trolling thing within our little community that we've developed here as well. You're just like, oh, something Sailor Moon? I think you need this Pro Jared link again.
Listen, I've seen that section of a certain website about Sailor Moon. Let me tell you.
Well, how about we get into what we've been playing real quick. Colin?
I've been kind of with the same 2 games. I beat Nier Automata recently.
Oh, you finally did.
Boy,
you beat the A2 ending, I take it, as well?
Yes, and ending E. Oh boy.
Ending E? What is that? I'm not familiar with that one.
That's the true ending.
I don't think I'll play the game long enough to get that.
Is that where you fight the Square Enix CEO?
This isn't a Space Quest game.
No, that's a real thing that happens in that game. You fight the Square CEO.
You can't be serious.
I'm very serious.
Oh.
Like, I want to know if that's a thing that Colin got to do.
Colin, did you fight the Square Enix CEO?
I fought the text spelling out those words, yes.
Yes.
Oh my god.
That's the only detail I'll go into.
Oh.
So, would you say it's your game of the year from last year?
Maybe. It's kind of tied with Horizon Zero Dawn.
You're goddamn right it is.
I'm quite happy with that answer.
Then again, I didn't play that many games from last year.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. I recently enjoyed GameStop Pro Day myself. But what else did you play before I get into that?
I played a lot of Celeste. I finally beat the main campaign.
Oh, nice. How long did that take you?
Maybe 5 or 6 hours total.
Oh, wow. It's not as long as I thought. That means I was at least halfway done with the game. Wow.
Yeah, there's about 8 levels total.
Oh, shit. I thought there was like 12. Man, really
I'm
dropped the ball on that one.
Playing through the B-sides of it now.
Okay. Yeah, the extra levels in that was... I've seen videos of just people rage quitting in that game.
Yeah, the way it works in Celeste with the B-sides, there's like these secret areas in the main stages where these pixelated platforms are popping in and out to the beat of a certain tune, and then you traverse them to get a secret cassette tape, which will give you an alternate version of the main stage that you can play at your leisure.
Oh, wow.
Very challenging, to say the least.
Yeah, I'm kind of balls deep in other games. I'm sure Kevin can talk about being balls deep in like Ghost Recon Wildlands these days. Well, in fact, why don't you tell us how balls deep you are in it?
Well, as long as Colin's done, I don't want to
This thing. The game To the Moon that I mentioned in episode 16 top-down action games.
Oh, look at that callback.
An animated feature film made.
I should never have let Colin talk. I regret things. I don't know. I honestly I can't remember what this game is for the life.
Cast, so it's a 2012 indie game, so Not everybody knows about it, but I'm trying to rectify that. And it seems I predicted the future because I wished for this exact thing to happen, and it did.
Nice.
They're getting a pretty well-known animation company in Japan to helm it.
Studio Ghibli.
Praying that Makoto Shinkai will be the director, because I will lose my freaking mind if that actually happens.
I doubt it. He's a guy who does original work.
I don't know who these people are.
It's okay. You're not weeb enough for this conversation.
Goddamn right. I have a tribal tattoo. Damn it. I am not a weeb. Not a joke, by the way.
Well, let's get down to you being balls deep in Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Well, all right. So
I'm kind of shocked you're still playing that game.
What, Ghost Recon?
Yeah.
It's because like that game doesn't have like a story that's worth like following deep. It's like if there's a joke of like all Ubisoft open world games are laid out the same way, where it's like big map, bunch of icons, go nuts, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
This is literally Ubisoft open world, the game. Like that's all it is. Like it's just go here, do this, like take down drug cartels. Fuck it, I don't know, whatever, man.
Yeah, it sounds about right. That was kind of my issue with Far Cry 5. It changed a lot of things for the better, but it still felt like an Ubisoft open world game.
But the thing about this is like I never really go out of my way to do side because I have a couple games in my backlog, so I want to get through them. But like
yeah, I know. Slightly.
But like when you go, it says like if you go here, you will get a new gun part, and it's like okay, so you go and you actually get it like right away,
Oh.
So like you kind of get distracted, like I need a new suppressor for my guns. I'm gonna literally go find it right now. And,
okay.
I mean, I'm not in a rush to beat that game. It's literally just like my turn. Like, let's take down a few cartels and I'll get the hell out.
Sure.
But, and then, what else did I beat? Kirby talked about the Life is Strange. Great movie, not a great game.
Great movie. So is Ellen Page crying in it?
Ellen Page isn't in it.
I know, but is she crying in it? Did she make a...
Are you thinking of Beyond Two Souls?
No, why would I do that? It's totally not the same game.
Yeah, well, it is. What else is there? What else did I play? Shit. I beat Mega Man 4, but that's a spoiler for my videos. And then next month, my Game of the Month club is playing Sleeping Dogs, and I was like, I'm about to start it early, but I can't.
Oh, I saw you on Twitter, like really hoping to get that game.
Fuck! I'm so excited. I can't start it early because I'll be a bad person. But I'm so hyped to play that.
I'll play that with you in the Game of the Month.
Look, man, I'll invite everybody to join a Game of the Month on Facebook.com/gameclubs. Actually, it's not the URL. I don't know it. But yeah,
I won't. I don't know if I'll be in every single one, but I'll definitely be involved in that one for sure.
Nope, nobody's forcing you. Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah. I've been meaning to play Sleeping Dogs again. I don't really have much of a memory of it. All I know is I liked it.
Yeah, and then I have to. Speaking of our Game of the Month club, we normally do a RPG of the quarter, instead of a month. It was Final Fantasy 13. Popped that in, played like 2 hours of it. I was like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? And I took it right out and sold it. I hated that game.
Yeah, we spoke about that last time too, yeah.
Oh, it was so bad. It's so boring. Oh. And then somebody was like, oh, it takes like 10 hours to get into the game. Like, that's like a work day plus 2 more hours for me. Fuck that. Like,
yeah, that's... No, I mean...
hours.
Yeah, I was like, this is stupid. So.
I really hate that answer when it comes to, oh, well, you just didn't play it long enough. Well, how long did you play it? Oh, I played it like anywhere from 4 to 12 hours, and then it gets good. I'm like, no, that's unacceptable. That was my main reason behind I didn't like Evil Within 2. I played it for like 6 hours. I was like, this game is fucking boring.
Oh, I thought that people liked that game.
People did like that game. I didn't.
All right, that's fair. Yeah,
you're like, no, the story really starts rolling around hour 8 or 10. It's like, shut up.
After like an hour, if it takes more than that to get, no, I'm good. Minus Persona, because I know better. So.
Well, moving on. I did. GameStop had their little pro day yesterday. Large deals, like heavy price drops, and then deal on top of the price drops. Everything. So a lot of the games I've been putting off actually purchasing instead of bugging friends for PlayStation SharePlay.
Mhm.
I got Resistance finally for $1.50. That was fantastic.
You've never played one before, right?
I dabbled, but let's just go with no.
Let's just say Resistance 1 is rough.
I expect it to be. I believe it was a launch title for the PS3.
It looks like a PS2
was, yeah.
mid-generation game.
Yeah, cool. Which is fine. Not everything can look as good as Heavenly Sword.
You're not wrong.
Yeah. Then I got Yakuza 0 and Yakuza Kiwami, which I'm very excited about. You reminded me that I do have Yakuza 5 because it was given away on the PS3. Then I finally pulled the trigger on Gravity Rush 2. There was a heavy price drop on that yesterday. I'm very excited to dive eventually into that game again, not just for the podcast. And Infamous Second Son, another basic launch title. Do you notice something peculiar about those games? Something specific, guys?
You bought all these weird artsy-fartsy games.
PS4
no.
games,
Resistance is not a PS4 game.
basically.
They're all exclusives.
Oh, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
Anytime Xbox.
Well, speaking of which,
Mixer, right?
Mixer, right? No, we should go into our first discussion topic. What do you say?
Ooh, transitions.
Yeah.
Nothing ruins a transition like somebody mentioning that they're...
So, what I've done here, as I explained at the top of the episode, was we're getting ready for E3, and we're going to discuss the game exclusives. Justify your console purchase, right? And we're going to start off with the Xbox One S, specifically, because it's the most affordable, and it's, in my opinion, the best Xbox. Not graphically, naturally, or power-wise, just it's the most accessible one.
It'll also be the shortest, because fucking why does that thing exist?
So I've written down 10 games for each of the 3 major consoles that are out, and if you're watching the live stream, you can already see them in the agenda I have in front of me. So the first game I have listed here is Forza Horizon 3.
That's 4? 4 or 3?
3.
Isn't 3 out?
You mean, is 4 out?
No, I thought we were on Forza Horizon 4 coming out, right?
It's coming out, but it's not out yet.
Got
These
it,
games
okay.
have to be out right now.
Oh, okay. Yep, all right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So Forza Horizon 3, I think this is one of the quintessential games to have for the Xbox One S. Because let's face it, if you don't buy, like, I don't know how you guys feel about exclusives for gaming consoles, but I think if you don't like the exclusives they're putting out, then you essentially have a glorified Steam machine.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
You guys agree with that statement?
I do, and that's... Except with Xbox, I don't fully agree, because most of those games are still getting put on the Windows. You know? Yep.
Well, let's suspend our disbelief and say that doesn't exist. Say that, or the fact that you don't like PC gaming, you really like Xbox, you like the brand, you like Microsoft, you like what they do, you like the online community, you like the online gameplay. I mean, there's a lot to like about Xbox and how they handle what they're good at, and that's definitely the online play.
You're really trying to make me suspend my disbelief.
Well,
that's fanboyism. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I have Forza Horizon 3 as the first game, for sure. It's one of the few games that I always end up looking back on and go, man, if I actually had an Xbox, that's the number one game I would definitely have. I always end up falling back on that game.
It's a good game. I can't lie about that.
Evan, why don't you tell me about the second game I have written down here?
I gotta look at the fucking chat again.
The chat, the agenda.
Chat. Hold on, I'm reading. Sunset over. Oh, I like that game. That one's fine.
Cool.
I that game is like the one thing that made me want an Xbox, but as I say that, I completely forgot I've played that game and made videos on it. Like, it was kind of fun for the time, but I don't know, once it came and went, I was kind of like, all right, I don't really miss it that much.
See, I liked it because it's kind of like an infamous Ratchet and Clank hybrid with this Jet Set Radio steampunk kind of thing going on with aliens.
Yeah, it was fun. I'm not taking that away from it, but it just, like, the lasting impression of it, it was like, it was there. I still recommend it, and you should definitely get it if you have an Xbox, but I don't know if it would, like, sell a system for me. You feel me, dog?
So, Colin, how about the next game, and then we'll just go round robin from here on.
This game is Halo 5, and I honestly don't have much to say on that because I haven't played any beyond Halo 2.
Yeah, but you can definitely say, like, Xbox Halo. Like, that's what comes to mind, right?
It's basically the first game everyone thinks of when you mention any Xbox games.
Gears of 4.
The second game.
Yeah, Halo kind of goes without saying. It's the latest one. Obviously, I think you can get the first two and kind of the remastered version that are out. But the next game I have is Forza 6, not 7, because 7's, well, I spoke about my disdain for it on the Modern Cast, but Forza 6 was, I'll admit, a very good game. I think it's the best racing game out for Xbox next to Forza Horizon 3. If you want a more simulated racing game, that's definitely one. Yet. Next.
Is it my turn to read?
Yes.
Yay, Titanfall. Yeah. Man, I'm picking all the weird ones.
It looks fun.
Titanfall's okay. It's just, Titanfall 2's out now. So, yep. I don't know what to say about it. It's an online shooter, but it's kind of dead now, right?
Well, I mean, if you okay, how about this? If the way I looked at it was Titanfall was an exclusive game, it's a solid game. It's a kind of that sci-fi shooter going on, and if you liked it enough, then you can get the second one as well.
Here's where I'm going to counter you on that. Also came out in 360.
Fine.
So it didn't really I knew people that were excited to get an Xbox. And then once I told them it was coming out on 360, they were like, "Oh." And it was still at that point where it was the first year, so people weren't totally ready to buy a new system yet. But if it waited another year, I feel like that could have sold Xbox Ones.
It could have helped, yeah. No, yeah. I mean, when I think Xbox One, I definitely think Titanfall. Personally, even Titanfall 2, I kind of associate that. Yeah, even though it came out also on PS4, I still associate Titanfall with Xbox.
That's fair.
All right, Colin.
Next is Gears of War Ultimate Edition.
Yeah, so I have asterisks on these next ones. They're either kind of controversial or remasters or backwards compatible because
quote
that's one of the key features in Xbox these days. Don't play our new games because they aren't coming out. You have to play the old ones that we have. So Gears of War, the remaster of the first one, kind of that got the franchise started, and I kind of looked more into this game, and Ultimate Edition kind of it definitely appeals for sure.
I gotta say, can we? Not that can we stop using, but I don't like the term backwards compatible when it comes to that program because it's not really.
What do you mean?
If it was backwards compatible, you would put the disc in, it would play it off the disc. It's really. Here you have the CD, it counts as a voucher to play the game and download it from the store. So it's not really backwards compatible. It's just okay, you have a CD key to download a digital copy of this game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so that begs the question. I mean, you're absolutely right. I agree with that statement for sure. Because think about it, when Xbox One store eventually goes down, because it will happen.
Yeah, you can't. Then it's not.
It's no longer backwards compatible. If I put in PlayStation 1 games into my PS2 right now, they still work.
Yeah, that to me counts as compatible, like how Wii U does games.
Right.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a bad program, but like, I was excited about that until I learned doing it. We're gonna put these games out compatible at a time. Like, okay, so you're 100 and then call it quits, like you did with the 360. You know?
Right.
Yeah. So I get worried about that, but I appreciate the fact that they're.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people seem to like it and they're behind it, so that's what and just to speed this along, I got Gears of War 2 for that kind of a similar reason. Halo 3. There you go. I believe that's regarded as the best Halo game, or is that Halo 4?
Oh,
Must be 3.
Must
I
be
want to
3.
say 3 because 4 was and they changed studios, and I feel like people were like, about that whole move.
Okay, fair enough. And then these next two games, I was running out of exclusives already when I got to Titanfall. So I went with basically they're exclusive. They are exclusives and they're okay. It all depends on the person at that point, but that's Recore and Quantum Break.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, those existed.
Yeah, no Sea of Thieves and State of Decay 2 there. No.
Yeah, so when you're talking about justifying this, are you talking strictly games? Because there's one other thing that I would put for the for Xbox.
And what would that be?
The Game Pass.
Well, I mean that's definitely a feature. Since it's new, yeah.
But that is like one reason I really want an Xbox, just to be like, look, pay $10 a month. Here's this whole back library of games. Like,
well, their backwards compatibility with a lot of 360 titles are being removed from the Game Pass, so they're really getting rid of a lot of their library. You know what I mean?
yeah. All right, fair. I still want it. They did put Sea of Thieves on it though, which I thought was a ballsy move.
Well, if they didn't, then would Sea of Thieves even have been played? It seemed to sell pretty well, that's for sure. I think it sold like 2 million just on the hype alone.
Really?
Yeah.
Weird. I can't imagine. I didn't think that game would sell that well at all.
Well, it definitely stopped, and Microsoft and Rare are feeling it right now because they definitely. I the articles I've been reading, Xbox is really sad that it's not like taking off the way they were hoping for. 2 million was definitely a failure in their eyes.
No Man's Ocean.
No Man's Sea.
No Man's Sea. No Mansky.
Yes, I know Nomansky. He's a good guy.
All right, well, moving on. We got the next one is PS4. Something Colin, you and I are quite familiar with. Kevin, you too. All of us have a PS4. It's a fucking PS4. Mike, the key feature I have written down here is single player experiences.
Yeah.
It does have a lot of the online games that are also on Xbox that aren't exclusive. So these are all exclusive games with hardcore single player experiences. The first one I have written down here is Infamous Second Son / First Light.
That's
I have
confusing.
to play that one. I mean, I've played the first two Infamous games, but I haven't played this one yet.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Same. But I heard it's good.
These games were great.
Yeah, this was, I'm not sure if it was a reboot or what, but it was definitely like the character from the beginning again somehow.
Doesn't this guy have fire powers instead of electrical?
I think so, yeah. And he's more like teenage punk angsty kind of deal. It was definitely more story focused as opposed to the whole comic book feel the first two had.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know, this might be a spoiler if I'm wrong, but I think Cole died? I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not
Sure.
Don't deny that.
I can't confirm that because I didn't beat 2.
Well, Kevin, how about the next one?
The next one, scroll. Last Guardian / Until Dawn, those are two very different things.
Well, they're two. I know, but they're two. They're two games with two very different stories, and divides the community kind of because both think they're. You know, there are people that think it's really good, and then there's people that think it's really bad. It's kind of in that Recore Quantum Break kind of territory.
Gotcha. Well, I can't speak for Last Guardian because I haven't even played like the other games they've made.
Ico and Shadow of the Colossus. You haven't played Shadow of the Colossus?
Nope. And meant to, just never did. I know, I'm a bad person, I guess.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah. Until Dawn, that game, I got that as a gift. And I thought it was going to be like one of those, like, I'm going to sit here and play it with the girlfriend and she'll get into it. I ended up liking it a lot. That was like one of those interactive movie done right kind of games, though.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And I kind of wish I recorded it because I screamed like a little bitch at jump scares. So, I don't know. That game was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So, agree. But then they ruined the franchise after that.
I don't think they ruined it.
Rush of Blood is not an Until Dawn game.
There's spin-offs. It's no different than what like Mario does with some of the crazy other games he's been in.
Here's the thing. I read an article about like how Sony handled Until Dawn and like their plans for it.
Mm-hmm.
And the article can literally be summarized as, we didn't fucking think anyone would like this game. We have no idea what to do with it.
I like the idea behind the inpatient, but a 2-hour PSVR experience. I mean, yeah, I'm a big fan of the Until Dawn series now, and I've bought the two spin-off games. They're fine in their own rights.
Yeah, I don't know. I like Until Dawn as a core game, and that is a recommendation. Console Kiv approved.
Yeah, Colin, I think you kind of want to talk about this next one for sure.
Gravity Rush 2. Surprisingly, I have not yet bought it, but I have played the first one and enjoyed it immensely. And from what I've played of Gravity Rush 2, it plays basically the same and has sort of the same feel to it, so I'd really like to play it.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I just bought it officially. No more share play for me in that, and I'm looking forward to trying to break the game as much as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, the anti-gravity mechanic, you can spam it, and let's just say going through walls gets kind of fun, actually.
Nice.
But they probably fixed it way back since before it came out. Because Colin and I got to play it at, what was that, Fan Expo? Before the game was officially out. I was just like, look, I'm going through the ceiling. Look, I'm going through the wall now. Look, I'm going through the floor. Oh, I died.
I did that right in front of a developer who was... Stop, dude.
Well, the next one's Yakuza 0. Basically, the Yakuza franchise. I put 0 because that's a good starting place if you want to dive into it for sure. Basically, Grand Theft Auto on crack with lots of mini games and nonsense is, I guess, the best way I can put it. It's very super Japanese, like seemingly a lot of games on this list actually. So yeah, Yakuza 0, definitely.
There's actually a segment in the game where you help this dominatrix learn to be more dominating with her clients.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even begin to describe all the crazy shit. I mean, there's karaoke. You can kung fu fight with daikon radishes. I mean, the list goes on. You learn how to like rear a child for a stripper at some point, I believe, in one of the games.
Wait, you can what?
You can help like take care of a child of a stripper.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you said like prepare a child to be a stripper. I was like, what?
That, you know, surprisingly enough, that might not be out of the realm of possibilities.
Take a seat.
Kevin, I'm gonna skip you because I think you want to talk about another game. So Colin, Nier Automata, right?
Earlier, pretty amazing game. It's like great hack and slash mechanics, good bullet hell mechanics, great story, great characters.
And then Kevin?
Persona! That's the same amount of syllables I had to.
It sounds like you're really into this RPG.
I fucking love Persona. Remember how we were talking before and I said like if a game takes more than an hour to like get into?
Right.
Yeah, no. exception to the rules Persona, because all that story and all that dialogue sets you up for like a masterpiece 100-hour experience where every time you turn it on, whether you're doing a dungeon crawl or you're doing just dialogue and watching the story envelop, is all good and it all has a purpose and it all connects. And I mean, the only downfall I could say to it is that it came out on PS3, so if you're still sitting behind on your PS3 only, fucking get a job and buy a PS4, but then go get Persona anyway. It's good. I love it. Probably my favorite RPG series of all time.
Wow. So you like Persona 3 and 4 as well?
So here's the thing about that. I've only played 4 and 5.
Come on, man.
As I call it, my favorite series of all time.
It's my favorite series, but I haven't played the first 3.
I got shit to do, okay?
It's okay. You don't need to play the first. You definitely don't need to play the first one. The second one is meh. The third one's definitely where it starts.
They're all differently and not really connected in any way.
I quite liked Persona Q for the 3DS.
I also have to play that.
The mixture of 3 and 4.
Chibi.
Yeah. All right. The next two are Uncharted 4 and Bloodborne. I bought a PS4 because of Uncharted 4. The Uncharted series is synonymous with PlayStation these days and Naughty Dog. And then Bloodborne was basically a launch title, I believe, or within the first year. It's medieval, not medieval. It's Victorian Dark Souls, pretty much.
I say Dark Souls is pretty medieval.
Yeah, but this was more Victorian, kind of this vampire environment that you might see. The two games are very good. They're excellent. I mean, they're console sellers on their own, which is definitely the next two games. Colin, Horizon Zero Dawn, am I right?
Aloy.
Yeah, big old open world that's absolutely gorgeous. A whole lot of gameplay mechanics in one place. Probably my favorite is with the launch the rope into the robot and then pin it to the ground that way. That I had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah,
too. You're uncovering what the heck happened in the past to make all these robots roaming around and going crazy.
Yeah, and the interconnected story was outstanding. Aloy is such a great character. I look forward to seeing more of her years down the line, for sure. And then the last game is the new one. I kind of copped out with it with the new game that just came out, but hey, it's that damn good. It's God of War Valhalla, God of War 4, even though 4 does exist already. Dad Kratos, Dad of Boy Valhalla Edition 2018, whatever you want to call it. It's a great game. Kevin, Colin, have you guys played this at all yet?
Not yet.
Are you going to?
Yeah, I'm gonna play Ascension first though.
Well,
you have to, but
yeah, you don't have to. Ascension, the way I say Ascension is it's okay. It's not terrible. It's arguably the best looking game on the PS3 that ever came out.
I got it sealed for $2, so I'm playing it.
It can't be worse than $2. That's for sure.
Definitely not.
It's kind of like the way I looked at Resistance. I could play a broken ass game for $1.50 and have a good time.
Cooperatively. Play Resistance cooperatively at least, though.
Yeah. All right. Nintendo Switch is hot as shit. Am I right, guys?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, mine's
sure.
burning up in that dock that they didn't ventilate properly.
I have yet to get one. But
well,
I really want one.
The key feature here I have is portability / the Wii U portable tablet.
I disagree with that first line already.
You think the key feature isn't portability?
No, I think the key feature is portability, but why the fuck is it so big that I can't bring it anywhere?
Problem.
It's huge. That thing is not portable.
I think the thing fits in the backpack, no problem.
Yeah, okay. And then, like, the battery life is, like, 2.5 hours if you're lucky.
That's okay.
I disagree. I don't think it's portable. I want that thing to be the size of a Vita.
Oh, come on.
Portable. I'm serious. I will never bring it out of my house when it's that.
Do you play on your couch or while you're in bed at all?
It strictly stays in the dock.
Oh, well.
I play
you're not like most girls then.
No, you're right. But, like, I literally took it out of the dock, and I treated it like the 3DS, like 3D. I was like, oh, neat, it does that. All right, well, back you go. Like, I don't know.
Well, I think it. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna cut you off there. I think the first two games kind of go without saying. I don't want to go too far into them. It's Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild.
Oh,
Definitely.
So want those.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild on Wii U though.
Well, that's why I said one of the other features is the Wii U portable tablet.
My Wii U tablet was portable. I don't know if you know this, but it fits in your backpack just fine. 2.5 hours of battery life is just fine. Yeah, now who I sound like.
Another game I have here is Kirby Star Allies, because it's a Kirby game.
It's good.
It's good. It's good. It's not very long. It's not hard, but no Kirby game has been hard.
Or long. Am I right? Okay.
Oh man, Kevin, you're on fire. Oh, you gotta put your clothes back on. What are you doing?
Why don't you take a seat?
Oh, jeez.
Colin, I got Splatoon 2 here. It's Splatoon, right?
Yeah, we played it together.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun.
It's a fun game. It definitely fits a mood for sure. It gets that battle mood in
Mario
it.
Sunshine, basically.
Yeah. Then I have Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle. As bizarre as this game was on paper, I ended up really liking it and was hooked on it. I think right now at this point in the library, it's definitely on my list for sure.
It just made the list. Is that what you're saying?
Plays just like
Ooh,
XCOM. So
did you say something, Kevin?
I said, did it just make the list? You just made the list. You have a button for that, don't you?
I sure do.
It really works if you hit the button, though, JD.
Yeah. Well, you guys can't hear it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind. Now I feel like an idiot. I want to roll back to one thing you said though about Splatoon 2, and I'm not shitting on it. I just actually want to know: did they ever fix the salmon run thing?
Yes.
So you can play it anytime now, and not whenever Daddy Nintendo says you can play it.
Oh, that's what you meant. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, because that was like the one thing that stopped me from wanting to get that game.
I don't care about the salmon run, so I haven't popped it in a while to test it out.
I thought it was stupid that they were like, "No, you're not allowed."
It's no different than zombies, really, but...
Well, I can play zombies anytime I want, though. That's the thing. With Nintendo saying, no, you're not.
I imagine they fixed that. They had to have.
That was the stupidest thing. I was like, why, though? It was like the weirdest hours of like when normally... Like, yeah, you can play it now.
Well, I'm looking forward to the summer when they release the single-player story DLC. It's supposed to be more story focused. Yeah. There's gonna be there was already a story in it, and it was okay. Mm-hmm. But now they're releasing a DLC that's even more story focused. So I kind of appreciate that what they're doing. And depending on that might just be a I already have the game. It would just increase the rating for me in my book if that DLC story comes out. It's kind of like what Horizon Zero Dawn did with Frozen Wilds. Mm-hmm. It doesn't need to be there, but it definitely adds so much to the game that it's worth it.
Killer.
Yeah. So the other one I have here is Xenoblade Chronicles 2. As much as I like to hate on the game and have a lot of issues with it, it's still solid in its own right, and it's a long RPG, and it's engaging somehow. And a lot of people love it.
Xenoblade Chronicles 1, and I have it.
Yeah, 1 is much better.
Is it like 200 hours or something ridiculous?
What, Chronicles 2?
No, the first... I don't know about 2, but I heard the first one's like 120 hours or something.
That sounds about right.
Oh, sweet.
Depending on what you want to do, what you want to accomplish in the game, Chronicles 2 can easily be 120 hours. I beat it in 80. I was kind of done with it once I got to the end of the game. It was fine. I think Ni no Kuni 2 is better, personally.
Ni no Kuni.
Ni no Kuni 2.
Nope, Ni no Kuni.
Which didn't make my PlayStation 4 list, because there's just that many other games that I think are better and exclusive. By the way, were there any PlayStation games that I missed that you might put on there?
Wild Guns is on Switch now. Never mind. Let's see. I'm trying to look. Oh, the Dragon Quest Warriors game, whatever they're called.
Oh, Dragon Quest Heroes?
I like those. I'm trying to look at my shelf from Crash, even though it's coming out on Switch. The Shadow Warrior, it's on Xbox. Tales of Berseria and Zestiria, I would put on there. If you like those. You could suck me if you don't like that. What else?
I don't think they're good RPGs.
Oh, I don't think you're a good RPG, so there.
Oh, my heart.
How about Marvel Pinball?
All right, moving on.
No, I'm serious about that. I like pinball.
You're trolling now.
No, I'm not. I actually think that's a good game.
No one's liked the pinball game since the Sega Genesis.
Okay, first of all, you're fucking wrong. Pokemon Pinball on GBA is wonderful.
Oh, I mean, that was a game, sure.
I don't like this.
It had a rumble feature.
Unsubscribe.
So the next 4 I have asterisks next to because this is all based on the fact that you don't have a Wii U. Because I kind of came into the same issue that I did with Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
The pass right now is the fact that the Switch is just over a year old. So in a year, it has as many exclusives to add to the list as Xbox One does. That shit came out in 2013. Or whenever it was. But I have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Pokken Tournament DX, Bayonetta 2, and Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. I think they kind of go without saying, really.
Yeah. And when you bring these up, and here's my issue with the real issue. So much like on it like every day.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is I am one of the 4 people that bought a Wii U.
Ah.
So like,
I must be the second one.
Yeah, everyone's talking about these great games, like you said, like Bayonetta, Pokken, like they're really good. But like I have a Wii U, so like I bought those games, and for me right now, like I want to love my Switch, but I don't know what to play on it that isn't on another system for cheaper. Usually, probably performs better,
Right.
but like or a Wii U port. So like when I was looking around for things to get for my Switch, like my girlfriend got me Odyssey when she bought me it. And I was like, I don't know what else to play. So I bought Blaster Master Zero because it looked interesting enough and I like the NES game. And then like Kirby, I recently got when it came out. But like beyond that, I don't know what to buy for it.
Yeah. If you no, I'm right there with you. I've wanted to. I mean, I've found games that I've wanted for it, such as Axiom Verge and Rayman Legends.
Which are on other things, though.
Yeah, I know, but I didn't have them already, and I was like, you know what? I'll get them for the Switch, to add to the library, and I definitely had fun. It served its purpose. I got Cave Story Plus, which was really nice to have on the Switch. So I found games to play, but Kevin, you're absolutely right. If you have a Wii U, odds are you already have Mario Kart 8 and Pokken or Bayonetta 2 or Donkey Kong. So that's why I put asterisks on them. Like, if you don't have a Wii U, then yeah, I think they're must buys for the Switch for sure.
Can we also talk about the review scores conspiracy with the Switch?
Oh, with the Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze,
and
like all
Doom,
of a sudden it's a better game.
And Doom.
What? Doom?
Yeah, on IGN gave Doom for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. It was like a 7.5. But then they reviewed the Switch version, which this is not fanboying. Runs worse and at a lower frame rate, but because it's on the Switch, they were like, "Oh, it's an 8.5 now."
I think you're incorrect with that. I think PS4 Doom got 80s and 90 scores.
No, I'm talking about just IGN.
Oh, IGN.
Yeah.
So Metacritic has 8.3. I'll look for IGN review.
And then with Tropical Freeze, they've done the same thing. It's like, game's okay. A little frustrating, but then it came out on Switch. They were like, "This is great! Like, we love this game."
Yeah. I don't like the Donkey Kong Country review because when it came out on the Wii U, it got like a 7.2 or something.
Yeah, it was averaging around like the 70s mark. Like,
it wasn't that bad by any means. But
I think people's like Wii U like bias. They were like, no, it's great. Like, this won't sell Wii U's. So
I haven't I haven't trusted IGN reviews since the early 2000s, so it means nothing to me.
Yeah, I don't like IGN reviews either. Wow, IGN did give Doom a 7.1. I mean, I don't like the game, but I admit that it was good.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't have to be for you, but like putting it on a Switch does not make the game better. Like, I mean, granted, Mario Kart did it, but they added like a battle mode, which Nintendo fucked up. That's
Wow. Well, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed the Donkey Kong Country one immediately. I'm like, wow, all of a sudden it's an 80 at 85? Like, come on now. Like it was I think it was like an 80, 85 already. I think the initial reviews were really harsh, so maybe they were backtracking, but yeah, that Doom one's like stupid.
Well, my friend Corey brought up a point. He's like, look, just because it's like a different person reviewed the game, so like they have a different opinion. I get that, but when you're plastering a number on your website for everyone to see, like it kind of makes you look stupid, you know?
Yeah, like maybe have more than one person review it, basically.
Yeah, or like even at the start of the title, like I know it says like the author and be like, hey, this is a different person than reviewed the PS4 copy, like, you know, make it known.
Yeah. Make it easier. So, just for fun, I put 10 really good games that probably they're on Xbox or PS4. The rule was non-digital and non-remasters. Kind of just to deter away from the Steam PC in a way. So I'll just list these. So basically, it's like you could, and this is why I imagine people are justifying Xbox because they like online, whatever, and they're like, well, there's enough games coming out for it, and this is probably why. Witcher 3, Dark Souls 3, Metal Gear Solid 5, Grand Theft Auto 5, Monster Hunter World, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Final Fantasy 15, Resident Evil 7, Ass Creed Oranges, and Titanfall 2.
Right.
Yeah. They were just like kind of 10. I tried to be a little diverse with it at the same time. Obviously, the FIFA, the Madden, the Call of Duty, those kind of go without saying, so I kind of also thought outside the box as well.
I'm a little upset you didn't put Madden on here, let me tell you. All
right. So, based on this, even though I love the Nintendo Switch, I love what it's doing, I love the future ahead for it. If you have a Wii U, I still can't. Like, I tried to justify the purpose, the purchase best I can. Same thing with Xbox. I think PS4 is blowing it out of the water, and the sales are definitely backing that up for sure.
But Nintendo, if you fuck up Pokemon on Switch, I swear to God. I'm a little scared of things I saw. By the way, I'm justifying the future.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean that's what you do with a lot of consoles within their first year or so release. You're anticipating the games that will come out for it, and I think with what we do know is in the works for Nintendo Switch, it's gonna be fine for sure. I mean, everyone loves it. Metroid Prime 4 was announced. A Pokemon Yokai Watch is gonna come out for it if you're into that. They got RPGs around the corner left and right with the Dragon Quest series making a return. So, bright future. I have no doubt that list will improve definitely in time. Now, Xbox, I'm definitely worried for, especially at this late in the game. Right. What are you guys' thoughts over this topic I just kind of thought of?
Colin.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think the PS4 has a much brighter future ahead of it than the Xbox.
Mm-hmm. I don't know how Microsoft is going to come back or how they plan on fixing their problem, but like, I just don't see a need for the Xbox to exist today.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
The way Microsoft can turn things around now is by adding more actual content to Sea of Thieves.
Well, they're definitely doing that, but I think the community's already gone.
Yeah, when I tried it yesterday, and me and my buddy, a solid 2 minutes before one person joined our like crew. So, I don't know. If that game had some kind of campaign, I feel like it would.
Yeah, I mean, I spoke with Drew heavily on the Modern Cast when that game came out, and he goes, he loved the game, but he's not playing it anymore, and that's kind of the problem.
Well, yeah, that kind of. I know this is just me, but like when I know the focus for developers is like multiplayer. We can milk money out of multiplayer, but at least when it comes to my buying habits, when I see an online only game, you're now telling me that this game has a shelf life, like by default. So like,
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, if I buy it now, like, pay $60. If I wait, it's discounted. But are there any people left? Like, I feel like you got to have a campaign that like you come for the campaign and then you stay for the online. You know?
Right.
Yeah. So like, I don't know. I feel like people get turned off. Most people get turned off when they see online only, and they're like, no.
I think a lot of casual gamers are the opposite of what you just said, though.
See, I would think that, but like if I go to a casual game, hey, have you? Not Fortnite. Everyone knows that one. Let's use Titanfall. When Titanfall came out, I knew a lot of people that had a 360 or an Xbox One. They were like, have you played Titanfall? They're like, what the hell's a Titanfall? They knew Call of Duty because like they bought it for the campaign, the zombies story. They knew they were like what they were getting into, and it had like an established, mark. But like when one new online only game came in, they were like, I don't fucking care. I'll just play Call of Duty.
Well, fair enough. I feel what you're saying. I just think you're wrong in a couple things, but
that's fair.
Yeah. I differ in the opinion of a couple things what you said, but I've already said it. So,
that's the beauty of the First Amendment, my friend.
Yeah, Colin, what about you?
Can't really add anything to that. It's
just say you agree with Kevin, and we can move on. Team Kevin, woo!
I don't think anyone's on Team Kevin right now.
You can all eat bags of dicks.
All right, so let's move on from this topic. That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that.
I enjoy you.
Oh, Kevin.
You feel things that I feel.
Ooh.
All right, now come on, Katie Vick, let's do this.
Ooh, okay. There's a couple cool pieces of news that came out, and I was quite hyped for it, and also quite sad at the same time. First one I want to get into is Nintendo Switch Online. Little details came out about it, and so I'll just lay the three things I got listed here, and then we can discuss it. No virtual consoles planned for release or the immediate future. Online service will start out with a small NES, basically a Netflix-like library being updated week to week, month to month, and so on. And it will cost $20 a year. $20 is not expensive. An NES Netflix library, and then no virtual console.
I have words.
Point it. So go on, Kevin. Let's hear your words.
Let's all stop using the phrase "the virtual console." It's coming. They're just not calling it that. Virtual console is just a brand name of a thing they put on their shop that said the old games are right here. The old games are coming. They're just not going to be labeled virtual console. So everyone's freaking out. They're like, the virtual console is not going to, like, the virtual console doesn't exist. There's nothing that is like exists. It's just a name. So you're getting old games. Don't worry about that. And when it comes to like their Netflix style thing, look, I hope so, because the way they did on Wii U was trash. You got like 4 NES games in like the 5 years it was out. Exaggerated, obviously.
Yeah, but the thing about the Wii U was you could log into the Wii Virtual Console as well. Yeah. The problem there was you had to rebuy the games if you already did it on the Wii.
Which is dumb, number one. And then number two, how hard is it? I know licensing is a problem, but let's say like if Nintendo just did the first party games, how hard is it to get games that are like less than a megabyte on your store? Why did it take so long? Why were there only like such a small number of your library? Like I didn't understand why. And the games they picked were sometimes like fucking weird. Like I don't think anyone was dying to play Mighty Bomb Jack again, or like, Nobunaga's Ambition. I was like, why'd you pick this? Why not like ActRaiser? They're like, how about Noah Naga's Ambition though? And then like Nintendo will be like, all right, we heard you. Taboo the Sixth Sense. It's coming to Virtual Console. Like, I want to know who's on their decision team of like these are the games coming. And then like they put out like Contra 3, and then they're like, all right, we're putting GBA games out. Contra 3 on GBA is now on Virtual. Why the fuck would I buy that? That's the worst version of the game that you already have out. So, I don't know. Some things they do are just fucking weird, and I hope they get it together this time.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna wait for this online service. I'm not gonna get it launch day myself, by any means, because the service doesn't really add anything. This NES library that they have, okay, great. I imagine it's gonna be a lot of games that I've already bought on the Wii Store, or I already have. I imagine it's gonna mimic the NES Mini, probably.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot one big thing about those games. You can play them online.
You will be able to do that, but
yeah,
I guess records will be set and what have you, for levels, and
I mean it's just cool that you can play like Contra co-op with somebody online. You know,
that'll be fun. That'll be fun. A lot of the multiplayer games like Balloon Fight and what have you. So there's definitely potential. I don't deny that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it'll take 6 months for it to have something appealing to justify the $20. Like, even though it's not a lot of money, it's still $20. You know what I mean?
I need more from it.
Yeah, definitely need more. Cause let's face it, Splatoon 2, Mario Kart, and ARMS aren't gonna be. I'm not gonna log into the service every day to play those games online. That's just not who I am.
You know what they would be good? Here's the online dream experience. They put Pokemon Stadium 2 on there. Play that online. Hell yeah.
Okay, yeah.
What do you think? What do you think of this Nintendo Switch Online, Colin?
I think if they're not going to make a lot of virtual game, the moves they've had available in the past, if those aren't available, I'm not going to be interested from the get-go. I'd rather wait until it happens with it, what they add to it, before I decide to invest in it. Plus, I actually have to get a Switch first and foremost.
That is the most important part of this, yes.
that is a little requirement, yeah. You know, when this news first hit, I reacted like a lot of people, where I was a little bit angry. Kevin, I'm just saying Virtual Console as just kind of that.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. Because I want to buy the games. I want to have them. I want to, you know, when the service goes down eventually, I want to be able to go back and play them still. And the games were only about $4 a pop. You know, they weren't expensive by any means.
Yeah.
That, you know, because I was disappointed with that, because I you know, with the rumors of the GameCube games coming onto it, maybe N64 games that are more rare, SNES, you know, the list goes on there. I really liked, you know, the TurboGrafx games that were on the Wii Virtual Console. Licensing aside, you know, that was something that was great, especially the TurboGrafx CD games. I have a lot of those on the Wii Virtual Console, but now if I want to play them, I can only do that on my Wii. So
I never expected GameCube or N64 though.
I wasn't expecting GameCube myself either. That's a lot. That's a lot to undertake, but the potential was definely there.
Yeah, it's that control scheme is not going to work. That's why for both those systems.
They would have to like rework a lot of games for the controls. But anyways, to not be able to buy the games is where people are upset. Now let's take a step back, as I did, and go, okay, financially, let's look at this. From a consumer standpoint of it being a financial investment, digital libraries are definitely the way of the future. We see this with Xbox doing the Game Pass right now. Mm-hmm. With their first party releases. Not even their old ones. It's also including... So Nintendo's following suit with they have a much larger library than Xbox, let's face it. It's not even close. They can just put NES games on, and it's going to be larger than what Xbox has, period. And they're showing that. For $20 a year, it's very affordable, and the games are old and cheap, and let's face it, you can emulate them very easily. You can emulate them on your phone. So I think Nintendo...
I wasn't going to bring that point up. I didn't know if you...
Yeah. I believe Nintendo recognizes this, and with the library that will inevitably increase in the amount of games, it will slowly justify the $20 a year. And you won't have to rebuy the games over and over again as well. So that's good. That's good on us, the consumer. And you're getting more money out of people on a per month basis than probably what they would have done, thinking long term, buying all these games individually over again. Because I think a lot of people are tired of doing that, and they don't want to do that.
And not only that, the games that they've launched, like, nobody would have bought some of those games otherwise. Soccer or like, Mach Rider, like games nobody cares about any. They didn't put them all in this like bundle package.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody would have bought those. I don't know anyone dying to play like soccer on NES again.
Right.
And what was the other thing I was going to bring up? Oh, I don't know if you know the answer to this, but like everyone uses the phrase Netflix style, like subscription service for this.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if anyone's ever confirmed. They going to be downloaded? Or are they going to stream these NES games to your system like PlayStation Now? Because that's a defining factor for me.
I imagine they'll be download. And
it's Nintendo, and there's not a lot of storage space on that Switch.
Yeah, but remember, those games are megabytes big.
But when they redo them for like online and stuff, like
I still think they'll only be megabytes big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trusting you, and if I'm lied to, I'm coming to you, Mr. Nintendo.
Yeah, they're not gonna be big files. So just like with Game Pass, from a consumer standpoint, as I said, I think it's a good move.
Mm-hmm.
But just like with Game Pass, I just don't understand how it's gonna make a lot of money in the end. So let's say I buy 4 virtual console games a year. And that's over 3 years, so 12 games. Okay? So that's $50. Give or take.
Yes.
Or let's even round it up, 60. So that's considering 3 years of service in total. Or then, instead of buying just those 12-ish games, I could play any game on that service for that same amount of money. I'm not limited to the 6 games. So I think, man, now that I think about it, I think that's the same amount of money that people would normally have spent. At least the majority of the consumer base. So I think Nintendo's actually doing something right here. For the long term.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm. What about you? What about you, Colin? You've been quiet on this.
I don't have much to say because I don't have a Switch. Plus, I'm kind of distracted by my landlord's family being noisy again.
Son of a bitch.
You can still have an opinion on it.
Like I said, I'm not on my mental A game right now. I can't really think very hard about this.
All right, fair enough. You got something to add, Kevin, one last time before we move on?
Don't fuck it up, Nintendo. That's all I got.
Fair enough.
I love Nintendo as much as I bust critique because I care. That's why. And I critique Sony and that don't get cocky. Fuck the next one up. There, see, now I'm fair.
Oh boy. All right.
Fuck it up, Xbox.
So this next topic I am very excited to talk about.
Ooh.
And what was revealed was an SNK Neo Geo Mini. So just like with the NES and SNES and the Genesis Mini of being released, SNK and Neo Geo are working together and they're getting their own down. Now the difference being that it's going to have essentially twice as many games than the NES and SNES Mini. The Genesis, I think, came with like 60 or some shit.
I don't know. At Games keeps throwing on weird like Flappy Bird clones on those.
Yeah, but at Games, they're gonna screw up the hardware.
You ain't wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, didn't they put out one more? I think Sega announced they're gonna make their own.
Oh, I don't remember reading that. The point is, staying on topic here. This Neo Geo Mini isn't just a little box that's like mimicking the Neo Geo console. This is like a mini arcade machine,
which is sexy.
This thing looks sick. It looks rad. Are there any awesome like 80s 90 terms I can use to describe this thing?
Tubular.
It's tubular. It's far out. It's bodacious. It's groovy.
Fantastic.
Really righteous.
Like, I can't believe what I'm seeing in this thing. It's this sweet like little mini display arcade machine. The stick looks solid. There's buttons on the console. I don't think it's meant to be primarily used that way because it's like a 3.5 inch screen.
Yeah.
It's designed, I think, mostly for the aesthetic and the portability value. You can plug it into your TV all the same with an HDMI cord. It has auxiliary cable imports, and you can buy two mimic old Neo Geo controllers that came with like the Neo Geo CD.
Gotcha.
That plug right into it.
I like this thing. However,
okay.
I have a qualm with it. So, I don't know if this is the same, but they're putting it up for their 40th anniversary, right?
Correct.
At the same time, Neo Geo is also putting out a collection of games for their 40th anniversary. I think on Switch. I don't know about anything else.
Yeah, they're pretty much already out. They've been
right
pumping those out frequently.
So, like how you just said, it's definitely not meant to be used as like the arcade standalone thing. I get that it looks cool, but if I just want to play the games, why would I not just buy the SNK collection on Switch for $40 or $50 as opposed to this $100 little cabinet? You know?
Okay, so take a step back there, and okay, there's 40 games coming out on this thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, every one of those SNK games, Neo Geo games that are coming out on the Switch store are about $7 a pop.
No, not individually buying them. They're actually putting out a cartridge of the same games.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Individually pricing, yeah, that's fucking obviously you're gonna get this whole cabinet, but like, you know, it's just like, well, if they're putting this thing out, why would I?
I think that's just covering all grounds.
Yeah,
I think if you don't want the mini, there's just an alternative way to buy it. It's more consumer friendly. It'll definitely justify the purchase more in that sense. More people have a Switch. That's SNK putting money on the table essentially.
Right. I'm not saying either way is wrong. I'm just
yeah. In fact, I'll probably end up getting both. Who knows?
Yeah, there you go. Solve that issue.
Yeah. But man, this little arcade mini cabinet looks absolutely disgustingly awesome. And the 40 games they're putting on there are no joke. They have announced what games that are gonna be on it, and for you guys' sake, I did put a link in the agenda, and there's only about 4 games that I was saddened to not see on there, and that's just kind of nitpicking, you know?
Yeah. Let me read you the list right now, if I may. King of Fighters. I jokes.
Yeah, King of Fighters 95, 97, 98, 2000, 2002, Art of Fighting, Fatal Fury Special, Real Bout Fatal Fury, Garo Mark of the Wolves, Samurai Showdown 2, 4, 5, Last Blade 2, World Heroes Perfect. A few of these games we played on the podcast. Kizuna Encounter, Metal Slug 2, 3, 4, 5, X, King of Monsters 2, Shock Troopers, Second Squad, Sengoku 3, that one I'm really happy to see on there. Ninja Masters, Top Players Golf, not Neo Turf Masters, I thought that was weird. Super Sidekicks, Blazing Star, Puzzled, Magician Lord, Robo Army, Cross Swords, Mutation Nation, awesome name, 3-count bout, Last Resort, Ghost Pilots, and Football Frenzy. The only games I didn't see on there that I thought were a little odd was Aero Fighters and Windjammers, and then just for my sake, Waku Waku 7 and Spin Master.
I'm a little upset Windjammers is not on there, because Windjammers is cool.
Yeah, I thought Windjammers would be on there. It has to be a licensing thing.
So I think I know why. It's a conspiracy, but I think I know why.
Okay.
Because when they put it out on PS4, it was like a kind of redone version, like barely.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I think it didn't run well, so I think like people might have a bad taste in their mouths about like what Windjammers is.
Yeah, maybe.
So maybe they're just like, oh fuck, people don't like that. I mean, I thought it was fine, but you know, maybe SNK is like, yo, don't fucking put that on there.
Yeah, well, at least they put Blazing Star on there for kind of your shoot 'em up type thing. I think they hit all the right notes with what games they're putting on there for sure. It definitely appeases the fan base. Even though Neo Turf Masters, I think the superior golf game on from SNK, there has to be like some music licensing issue with some of these games, or they just don't think these are gonna be wanted as much. But that's okay. Out of 40 games, and I'm only talking about 2 or 3 of them that aren't on there, I think that's a win in my book.
I want this thing.
Colin, do you want this thing? Does this thing not appeal to you as a person?
As a person.
I haven't heard of 80% of those games, but I do like the idea of getting to play all the Metal Slug games again in the classic arcade style, and Samurai Showdown too. So yeah, I think I would probably get one.
Yeah. What do you guys what are you guys hoping for a price point?
No more than 100, but I really want to aim for 70.
Yeah, I mean, if it's less than $100, which is ideal, I think, for today's consumer market, holy shit, like that thing is gonna sell like hotcakes.
Yeah.
Sell like rice cakes. Sell like what sell like photosynthesis. Oh my god, you're right. Oh god, what a selling point. Man, we haven't said that in quite some time. Man, that's a callback.
I've been busy.
Well, the cardboard cutout doesn't say it, so.
Lit photosynthesis A Lamau.
Oh.
I don't know if you hit a button, but it sounded like you did, so I'm gonna assume you hit the A.
Oh no.
No.
Mm.
Yeah.
I really like what definitely sold me on it were the controller ports.
Yeah.
For multiplayer aspect, because let's face it, when you want to play an old arcade game, you want to do this multiplayer. The only thing that I'm worried about is you got this thing. Here's a scenario, you might say. Oh,
yes, the French.
You got this thing hooked up to your TV, right?
Mm.
Okay, you're in the middle of I don't know, Metal Slug. Okay, you got the 2 controller ports plugged into this little mini arcade thing. And then you die. Someone just rips the controller. That thing. Do you see where I'm going with this?
I do. You want to know who else had a shitty controller set up like this? The 3DO. I said it.
yeah, where you're plugged into your friend's controller, and he's just like, "Oh, I'm losing." Unplugs it.
Exactly. You fucking all this. It all comes full circle.
That was the only thing. So unless it has like something. Some sort of safety measure in there, like the original Xbox, where if someone goes with the cord, they have that extra little little breakaway thing. But I don't see this arcade mini being heavy enough to even have that as a resort. So I see this thing like you're gonna have to like buckle this thing down, otherwise a controller is just gonna take it with it.
Yeah, I hope they figure that out, but hopefully somebody who is playing this with you appreciates SNK. Otherwise, your friend's gonna be like, "Why the fuck do I want to play this game?" And you guys got the new Call of Duty.
Yeah, and just looking at this from like a Neo Geo perspective, let's say you're one of those arcade faithfuls, but you can't afford a Neo Geo arcade machine, nor the $1,000 MVS carts a pop. Like, I think Metal Slug goes for $300 by itself, and those are the cheaper ones.
I have that in my backyard. Just let me go dig.
Yeah, right. Let me just go to a landfill. Maybe I'll find it like ET.
Yeah,
Like holy shit! Like, just from that perspective alone, or you wanted a Neo Geo CD of all things for a while. Like this is just such a good alternative. The aesthetic value alone, I haven't been this excited for like a peripheral console in a long time. And I didn't even get the NES and SNES Mini, but I am so hyped for this.
I want one. It just looks so pretty. Do you think it comes with little MVS carts if you open it up?
Well, they're saying it's gonna come with like stickers so you can deck it out.
Stickers?
Yeah.
Not little MVS carts?
I don't know. That would be cool. Like
that'd be really fucking cool.
Just little fake cartridges that you can kind of put in.
That'd be awesome.
It looks like you can decorate the top of the MVS cart with whatever like games you wanna put on, like you're mimicking an arcade machine. It looks like a couple models are coming out at the very least of SNK. Like I'm all down for the colored button one myself. I'm getting this thing.
I like this.
I'm hoping it's under $100 basically, so I don't have to save for a couple months to get it.
I mean, you could also not spend $100 and control yourself, but come on, we play video games.
Yeah, we got a video game hobby. We gotta feed the addiction one way or another, right?
Sorry, Tina, not buy you a ring this week. I got.
Well, I'm definitely getting both controllers on top of that, so that's kind of why I want it under $100 because I'm definitely breaking the $100 mark just with the controllers alone, additives. So,
are the controller inputs USB or are they like the old connection?
I believe the article says they're USB.
So you think that controller will work on PC, eh?
Let me see.
Really hoping for? I was really hoping this would plug in with a giant AES like fucking stick, so you have this giant controller being. You just fucking smash the thing.
It doesn't look like the port doesn't look like it's USB for the controllers, but it looks like there's USB ports in it.
All right. Well, that thing's getting hacked.
Oh, for sure. They're gonna like add the rest of the games in there. Yeah. I wouldn't want to risk it personally.
Yeah, guess what? The internet will.
Yeah. Well, that was fun. Let's move on to why we're all here. The theme of car combat.
Free beer. Oh yeah. That.
Yeah. Right after this short commercial break. Ha 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 ha.
Commercial break.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah, sweet.
Okay.
Am I stopping Audacity?
No.
Oh. I said that live on Twitch.
That's okay.
They know we're breaking kayfabe. We're on the list.
Combat experience I'd like to share before we get into the games. But we'll wait till the commercial's over.
This is not the time to talk about church. I mean, what?
Okay. Car combat.
Oh,
Vehicular combat.
Colin has something, JD.
Colin, what do you want to say?
I just share my experiences with car combat prior to getting into the games proper.
Sure. Always like good experiences.
It's a road rage story.
The car combat game I played the most growing up was Interstate 76 on the PC.
I am not familiar with this game at all.
Yeah, me either.
Basically the closest thing to a Twisted Metal game that I had growing up.
Mm-hmm.
The way the plot went was also kind of like Grand Theft Auto, but the way the stages went were pretty straightforward. You drove a car with a missile launcher and a machine gun on the top, and you basically fight other cars, just blow each other up.
Mm-hmm.
There's an actual story involved with like the mob and all that good stuff, but it was basically the demo version that we had, but me and my brother had a great time playing it.
That's ridiculous.
the other game we had was Destruction Derby.
Ooh.
Which
I remember Destruction Derby. Yeah.
feel like I should have picked that instead of Burnout 2 because it's on the PlayStation, but whatever.
That's okay. Yeah, I mean, I had a demo disc with Destruction Derby on it, and always wanted the game, never got it, and I'm kind of glad I did because the game's very limited in what it was capable of doing. But the demo was definitely fun as hell. Definitely played that with friends quite a few times. I just remember growing up, and because everyone else had an N64 and I had the PlayStation, everyone had Vigilante 8.
Yeah, I had a friend who had that too.
I've never heard of Vigilante 8.
You've never heard of it until now?
No, until I worked at a game store. I was like, what is this? And for some reason, I only see the second one. I never see So, I don't know what that says about the series.
Well, I mean, it just couldn't live up to what Twisted Metal was doing. Really, it tried to copy a lot of aspects. I mean, my friends definitely liked it, but the long-term standing value it's all nostalgia at this point. No one's clamoring for the series to come back. That's for sure.
Hey, Carmageddon came back, so anything's possible.
I suppose you're right, Kevin.
And Bubsy.
Don't talk about Bubsy.
Oh, we're talking about Bubsy.
I don't want to talk about Bubsy.
Well, that's fine. That's a normal reaction, but guess what's happening?
Oh boy.
So why don't we get into our first game here, which was your pick, Kevin.
I had a pick.
You had a pick.
Wait, hold up. We're going in order. Oh, yeah, that's right. I picked the good one.
Did you now?
I did, because anyway, Rock and Roll Racing for Super Nintendo, and not the Genesis. I know it's on both, but trust me, for the music you want, Super Nintendo. Essentially, if you've ever played, I was going to say Micro Machines, but it's not really top-down. It's an isometric racing game where they kind of did like an early try it, a sort of 3D perspective. You roam around on these simple little tracks while MIDI versions of like War Pigs and Bad to the Bone are playing. You're racing these monster trucks in outer space for, 90s reasons. And you're just rolling around on these courses and you're trying to blow up everyone else on the course while listening to MIDI rock and roll files, which is the main draw of the game. But I'll be honest, if it wasn't in there, I mean, the game would be pretty average, but man, does it make
the soundtrack definitely adds to it. And yeah, I definitely felt the same way. If the rockin' soundtrack, let me just go over some of the music tracks here. We got Paranoid by Black Sabbath, the Peter Gunn theme by Henry McKinney.
Yep, Billy Gunn theme. Yep.
No, the Peter Gunn theme.
I know what I said.
Don't be an ass, man. Highway Star by Deep Purple, Radar Love by Golden Earring. That's only in the Genesis version. Born to Be Wild by Steppenwolf, Bad to the Bone by George Thorogood, which you said, Kevin. Fucking fantastic soundtrack. It's one of the best I've heard in quite some time on retro gaming.
I think Bad to the Bone is the one that always plays when you first turn it on, so it really draws you in. like how Burnout Paradise always has to play Paradise City, and you're like, I get it.
Yeah, even in the remaster.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Fun fact.
And now I should mention this also came out in Game Boy Advance. I can't say how well the music came out on there. I'd imagine it's probably fine. But, if you want to play this game on Game Boy Advance, there's that.
Right.
It's one of those weird Blizzard games. They put Blackthorn.
Fun fact, Colin?
Yeah.
Your High Jazz Band, we actually did play the Peter Gunn theme ourselves.
Nice.
And I was on piano, so I was basically playing the whole 5-note background riff the entire song. It's like da 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 da. Repeat that. That was all I played.
Hey, you did it, man.
Did.
So just some couple notes there. It came out in 1993, developed and published by Blizzard Entertainment. It went by a different name at the time, but it was Blizzard.
We're gonna make World of Warcraft one day .llc.
Each race features 4 laps, and I thought the races were incredibly short. Every single one of them.
They were, but it kind of works.
Yeah, the combat in this, you have weapons at the front of your car like spikes, and you have to avoid mines and whatnot on the track, and various other hazards. Right up there with the kick-ass music. I really like the character names in this. I thought it was funny. Loudmouth Larry, Roadkill Kelly, Jake Badlands, Snake Sanders. I mean,
Snake Sanders.
Oh boy.
Nah, he's just the coolest character. Man.
I played both versions. They're both fine. I didn't find any issues with the Genesis music. It sounded like it came out of a Genesis, which I thought was cool for the little nostalgia appeal. I personally like the Sega version more, just because I don't know, it fits the system identity more. That's just the way I took it. But they both work fine.
The only problem I have with this game, and it's definitely a me thing, is that I can never remember what was what for the weapons. Every time I pick this game up, I'm like, okay, that's oil spill, that's spike. It takes me a second to adjust, and it's not like the game's fault. It's just I'm an idiot.
Yeah, this game reminded me a lot of RC Pro-Am. It definitely took a lot from me.
That's what I was thinking of. Micro Machines.
But yeah, it definitely felt super 90s. 1993 was the time for this kind of game to come out, for sure.
This is the time when you wanted to buy that denim jacket.
Oh.
Put some spikes on it.
Yeah, for sure. I had fun with it, that's for sure. I didn't hate the game by any means. I kind of wish that there were projectiles, but the races being so short, and I thought the difficulty level was kind of odd at times. The difficulty spikes. I didn't like the money power-up system by any means at all.
No, really? I thought that was a unique way to play. Got to really work on your car, you know?
I mean, I get it, but I don't know. It really got me to like panic during races too much. So I was like, oh shit, if I don't get enough money, I felt like I had to lose on purpose just to go through races collecting money.
It's called grinding. You ever played an RPG before?
But I'm playing a racing game, Kevin.
Well, guess what? This was called innovation.
I suppose.
Barely, but you know, whatever. If you've actually ever played a Eliminator boat duel game out, JD said no. It almost follows the exact same formula, but with boats.
I'm glad you brought it up, nonetheless.
Yeah, I'm gonna sneak it in there. You can't tell me how to live my life.
Colin, what were your thoughts over this game?
I found it overall kind of mediocre. I mean, I love the aesthetic and vibe, just the whole rock and roll thing going on for the 90s. That was a lot of fun. But the combat aspect of it did not do much for me. I mean, it's just lasers from the front, oil slicks from the back, and that was it. Well, starting out, you only got one of each, and if you want more shots, like, say, collecting them along the track, the game just says, fuck you, that's all you get. Buy upgrades in single player mode, but it still didn't do anything for me.
Right.
No.
Oh.
The 8 races you get in single player mode for each tournament, at least the tournament mode I played, they were all in the same environment. In my case, the chemical plant. I mean, change it up, guys. Mario Kart did that before you came along, I think.
Yeah. You don't gotta fix what ain't broken.
Did Mario Kart come out before that? It did. Mario Kart did come out before that. So, no, I mean, you bring up good points, Colin. Yeah, can't argue with him there.
Viewpoint, I also wasn't a huge fan of. I mean, I understand technical limitations, but that didn't do much for me either. Although sometimes it gave you a good sense of speed. I will grant that.
Yeah, because of the isometric view, you hit walls a lot.
Yeah, you do have to get used to the like Resident Evil style like tank controls.
It sure felt like that, didn't it?
Yup. Don't miss those days.
It's fun for a brief moment and then just gets tedious after that. So I can't say I recommend it.
Ooh, it's a fail from Colin.
Ouch.
What about you, Kevin? Does it pass?
I picked the game, so yes.
So it's all up to me.
Not really. People can make their own decisions. You egotistical.
I won't give it a pass fail drop. How about that? I'm kind of average on it.
Now the suspense is killing me. Pick a side.
I'm just average on it. So let's move on to our next game. Colin, you have 2 picks to go through.
Yes.
Unfair.
Because I wasn't aware that I had the option of just one, but okay.
Oh, that's fine.
So my first
2 very different picks. I'm down for them.
My first pick is Burnout 2 for the PS2.
Paradise City. Oh, wrong one.
2002 for the PS2. And then, according to JD's notes, it came out on the Xbox and GameCube in 2003.
Barely
and even
making the list.
Even those barely made the list, but that's okay.
10 years.
Developed by Criterion Games and published by Acclaim. The other picks on this list, this is more strictly focused on racing rather than full-on combat. This one was surprisingly hard for me to track down. I called at least 5 different stores and only one of them had a copy.
Oh wow. I know Burnout 3, that shit's everywhere. For sure.
And Paradise.
You know eBay exists, Colin, right?
It would get delivered in time.
Yeah, that was my problem with one of the games on this list.
Yeah. So it's basically a racing game where reckless driving is the only way to win. It's like you drive in the opposite lane, catch air over bumps, drift around turns, narrowly miss cars as you pass them, both in to get boost power. And then it's basically how you get ahead in any race.
Or in life.
Thing to real combat racing that I saw in here was the crash mode, which honestly I was surprised at how much I actually loved that one. I mean, there's just something so satisfying about crashing as hard as you can into a crossing vehicle at an intersection and cause a huge pile up. It's just something so viscerally satisfying about that.
In the game, right? You're not talking about like your like fantasies.
Oh, that's how Colin wants to end his life. He's gonna be 89 years old. He buys like a vet, and then he just goes head on into an intersection with a cigarette in tow. He's gonna be like, the grandson's gonna be like, "Dad, how did Grandpa die?" Man, flipped his vet in an intersection, man. 20-car pileup. It was epic.
Absolutely.
Grandpa, Dad, why did Grandpa put the Burnout 2 logo on the back of his car?
Shut up, kid, we're going for a ride.
Get the video camera, son. We're gonna watch Grandpa die.
Oh boy.
No, I never got into the Burnout series until the 3rd game. So going back more to its roots, it was a pleasant surprise. Kevin, we actually spoke about the series quite a bit in the extra long episode 3 way back when in racing games. That episode, you remember that?
I do.
Yeah. Where we talk in time. This franchise definitely molded into the Need for Speed series. It kind of combined the two, because it was Burnout's popularity kind of with the downturn of Need for Speed. But the Need for Speed name was I think more ingrained in the gaming community. So that's kind of what happened there. So it was nice to see just what this game was before it kind of went mainstream with that 3rd one. The car itself is the weapon. So the combat aspect of this is you're almost encouraged to just throw your car into enemy cars, like whether it be into the guardrails or oncoming traffic or various obstacles, just to cause as much mayhem as possible, and you get like points and shit for it. That was really cool. You get speed boosts for taking out cars and driving on the other side of the road. The whole appeal is the fact of causing those crashes, causing that mayhem. It's a different kind of outlook on the combat, for sure.
If I'm completely honest, this is the only Burnout game I've actually played thus far.
Oh wow!
That's part of the reason I picked it, was because I wanted to experience one of the early Burnout games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wonder what the first one's like now. Because mostly what happens with the first iterations is it's kind of rough around the edges. They're still trying to figure out like what they want to do with the game. When the second one comes out, that like those are synonymously regarded as a lot of the better games. Think of Assassin's Creed 2, Uncharted 2, etc., etc.
Sure. Yeah. As a racing game, it's a lot of fun, like a more cartoony Need for Speed game. But as far as car combat, it's kind of lacking outside of Crash mode. The early Burnout games might have had the whole crash opponents into other cars thing down, but I might have been thinking of the later ones, like 3 or Paradise. I'm not really on the up and up, as I mentioned,
right,
when it comes to Burnout.
What are your thoughts on this game, Kevin?
What's up?
What are your thoughts on Burnout 2?
I like 3 better.
Okay, but what do you think about 2?
2 was okay, but 3's better. I don't know what to, like. What I don't play much. I dabbled in it, if you will.
Okay.
I dabbled and I went. I want to play 3.
All right, that's kind of more or less what I was looking for. Yeah, I thought the game itself looks fantastic for 2002. It's very crisp, very smooth gameplay. I was actually shocked about that. I thought there'd be frame rate drops or kind of pixelation going on. I think it definitely showcased what each of the 3 systems it came out on was capable of the time, especially the PS2. I was very impressed with how it looks. I like the nice variety of vehicles. I like the fact that you can unlock them. I did think the courses in this, as Kevin said, like it kind of made me want to play 3 more. And I think the courses had a lot to do with it. The highways and whatnot seemed a bit bland. A lot of things repeated itself throughout this game. I mean, that's just kind of the way I felt it. Luckily, the cars themselves kind of kept me going. That's where the variety was. But as for those courses themselves, it just felt like I was on a highway the whole time.
Yeah, I have to agree. They were pretty bland courses. Just
yeah. The other issue I had with this game, and it suffers from kind of what I'm gonna go on to call the Mario Kart syndrome, was no matter how good you were doing in a race, if you crashed like once. This is especially in as you progress through the game. If you crash once, race over. You gotta start over, and you can't use your boost. You have to save it specifically for the end because there's always an AI car on your ass, no matter how good you're racing. So you gotta use that boost at the end to pass that last AI car every time. It almost didn't matter what race it was at after a certain number of races as you progress through the circuits. I had a real issue with that. That was something that was definitely fixed in Burnout 3.
Yeah, that's why 3's better. Why don't you listen to me when I say things?
Well, if you would have played Burnout 2 more, then you would have noticed this.
I didn't need to, because I was playing 3, and I was like...
Old enough for this cast.
Yeah, it was. Well, Burnout 3 wasn't old enough, but this I prefer. Just for the sake of the cast and discussion, I preferred playing this one because then I could compare it.
Colin, we should overthrow him and just make it 10 years. Start a mutiny.
That's not retro then. Jesus, that's just like last generation.
Yeah, which is retro now.
It's not.
Listen, you could be wrong somewhere else. Like you run this podcast or some shit. Yeah, I'm JD. I edit. Ooh, look at me. I do all the promotions.
Oh yeah, okay. No sarcasm at all there.
Sure, yes.
I mean, I liked going back and seeing an early Burnout game, but as Kevin said, it just kind of made me want to play 3 more.
How would you compare it to Paradise? Because I have not played Paradise.
Paradise added stuff. I just think it got a little crazy with the crashes. It kind of focused on that more than the racing. So it didn't even feel like a combat racer anymore.
Yeah, so if you're going to pick a Burnout, you would say 3 then?
I would still say 3 personally.
Gotcha.
I guess 2's going back just to see where it started, but I wouldn't. I can't recommend Burnout 2, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's above average for me.
Yeah, it has its positives, but because there's a better game that's almost exactly the same in a lot of sense. Yeah, I mean, why bother, right? It's almost like playing in certain wrestling games or sports games. You know what I mean?
It's still fun to do crash mode to blow off steam. Somehow it's even more satisfying than playing arcade mode of Doom 2016. Ha!
7 out of 10. But it came out on Switch, so it's better now.
You know what? I bet if this came out on Switch, I would like Burnout 2 a little better. Just saying.
Yeah, I can see the appeal.
Why? Don't fucking listen to me.
I could see the appeal. Like for an hour, you just kind of pick it up and crash a few times. I'd like to see the Burnout series come back. I would. I just think they need to tone down the crash mode, because then that became the focus, and I didn't care for that. So, Colin, next game.
My second pick is Lego Racers for both N64 and PlayStation.
And on the Game Boy, yeah, I played on there. Fight me.
You played the Game Boy version, did you?
I did.
Oh, interesting.
Not on purpose. It's just I played it back in the day. I just wanted to make that note. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is another game that, like Tomb Raider, I played extensively on the PC growing up, so I chose it more for personal nostalgia than overall quality.
Mm-hmm.
Bad overall, but it's developed by High Voltage Software and released on N64, PS1, and PC. And like Kevin just pointed out, there's a Game Boy Color version developed by Climax Studios. I'd never even heard of that one until I did my research on this game. Fairly average reviews overall. Not hard to see why, but I still somewhat enjoy it. Some characters that got their own real life Lego sets before this game, like King Kahuka. My brother actually had that Lego set when we were kids. And it plays basically virtually the same as Mario Kart, but with more customizability to your racer, as you would expect from a Lego game.
Right.
Not as much depth as to how you can race in Mario Kart. The choice of weapons isn't as wide, and the environments don't have the same, for lack of a better word. The weapons and power-ups are pretty standard as far as kart racers go. Shields, rocket boosters, projectile weapons. Although I did like the grappling hook. You basically just hook onto the racer in front of you and literally pull ahead of them.
Yeah, I quite like that as well. That was very useful. I would find myself saving that for the end of races.
Kind of a cheap move, but still fun.
Well, the AI in this game is cheap, so...
It was kind of cool that you could make the various categories of weapons into more powerful variants by picking up the white blocks. For instance, if you have the cannonball and pick up a white block, it becomes the grappling hook. And then if you get a second white block, it becomes a steady lightning bolt that activates for a short time. And similar things can be done with the shields and rocket boosters. Yeah,
in that sense, I quite like the weapon variety there. I actually saw that one of my favorite car combat racing games of all time is Mod Nation Racers on the PS3. And the weapon elements in this game reminded me heavily of that game. So I think Mod Nation definitely took a lot of influence from Lego Racers, actually.
That's funny.
I found myself dicking around in the build section quite a lot with the custom Lego person in your car, just making monstrosities to race with.
That's funny.
I thought the level designs were okay, at least with the backgrounds. The actual courses themselves had a lot to be desired. But I thought it was a fun objective to play the circuit, and you could unlock characters and then use their kind of models, be it their little Lego person or the car, to then add into the build section. I really quite like that aspect. It gave me something to shoot for. Like, ooh, okay, I'm facing the pirate first. I would love to race in a race at, with my character having an eye patch now. Great.
Thanks.
However, this has an absurd difficulty level and difficulty spikes for the circuit, even on the very first race. And mix that with the very stiff and overly responsive car controls. So by that I mean, they felt somewhat delayed in response, but as soon as it would respond, then it was overly responsive. So you'd want to go, take a stiff left turn. So you go, okay, left. It'd delay, and then all of a sudden your car would just whip to the left out of nowhere. So I found myself hitting walls a lot, especially when I first picked up the game. And as I mentioned with using and abusing the grappling hook, because of that absurd difficulty spike and level, I would actively try and get that particular pickup as I was heading to either the last lap or just before it, and then I would save it for the end of the race. And let's face it, if you got taken out early, might as well start the race over. It was even more frustrating than Burnout 2, because at least in Burnout 2 you actually could get better because the game ran so smooth that you felt better as a driver, and you just had to face one guy at the end. You could just boost in front of him. And this one, you had to actively try to find ways to kind of cheat the game a bit just to win a race. I did not like that about this game. I think there was a lot of potential here, and it was misused, mishandled.
I gotta say, if this game came out like now, this game would be way better.
Oh, for sure. With today's capabilities, absolutely. I agree, Kevin.
Yeah, it's just like, I mean, you pretty much covered it, but like, I don't know, as a PS1 game, I'm like, man, this isn't that great.
Yeah, even for $19.99, I felt like I expected a little more.
I have to say, overall, it's a pretty forgettable Mario Kart clone. It's not too bad, but even with my personal nostalgia, I can't really recommend it that well. Just play the actual Mario Kart games.
Hey.
Yeah. So does it get it gets a fail for me. Absolutely.
Failure.
What about you guys?
Pass.
All right, fail.
It does not go on the list. Did you hit the button again? Tell me you hit the button again.
Fatality.
Yeah, it's it got the fatality drop.
Nice.
Okay. The next game is my pick, actually. So we're in my territory now, guys. You know what's coming. It's either going to be a system that you hate, Kevin, or it's a PlayStation game.
You're damn right, and I know it's not a system I hate.
So this one I picked Speed Freaks, or Speed Punks, known in North America, for the PlayStation in 1999. It was developed by Funcom, basically a company that did a slew of different games and genres, nothing really too particular. And it was published by Sony Computer Entertainment America. So, what did everyone think of this guy?
I actually couldn't find a copy of this game, so I had to limit myself to watching YouTube videos.
Ooh.
Agreed.
Ooh. Why didn't you guys say so?
Because I am a busy person. But I will
So what
say,
you're saying is you emulated it.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I emulated playing it by watching somebody play it. But I gotta say, this, like, speaking of Mod Nation Racers, this actually reminds me of Mod Nation Racers.
Yeah, this even more so than the Lego Racers, yeah.
But it looks neat enough. It just, it also has like the exact Mario Kart like cube things, which I was like, man, you guys aren't even trying, are you? And this the one race I watched at Stadium that almost exactly reminds me of War Game on Mario 64. I was like, this is a blatant clone. I feel like Sony was like, yo, we got to do something quick.
Yeah, but it still had an edgier sense of humor.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
for
it kind
instance,
of had that Ren and Stimpy type feel without the grossness.
the opening cutscene. It shows racers on a go-kart busting out of the gates of the school for young ladies, and in doing so knocks off a bunch of the sign's letters, and what's left spells cool undies.
Nice.
That should give you an idea.
I thought this game holds up pretty well, actually. I played this quite a lot with friends. Again, PlayStation. Everyone else had the N64, so there was all the Mario Kart games. So it was either this or Crash Team Racing. I wanted something other than Crash Team Racing in 1999, and the characters of these funky like Rayman designs. They're missing appendages. I thought the game has a lot of charm, actually.
Yeah, I can see that.
One of the issues that a lot of people have, and I'll fully admit it, is the floaty car controls. So what happens is if your car takes off in the air at any point in time, your car will tend to hover. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as your tires hit, that's when everything seems to kind of over-respond, like you're losing control of the car. That takes a lot to get used to. It's a very unique kind of driving mechanic, especially after playing something like Burnout and Lego Racers, where everything was kind of stiff or overly responsive based on that. This was just kind of this had that hover and then the screeching tire. So it focused a lot more on drifting in that sense, is the best way I can put it. Yeah. The game is very unforgiving a lot of the times, and it's very hard to overcome and unlock more courses and characters, much like Lego Racers. But but unlike Lego Racers, because you do eventually get used to the controls if you put the time in, and it's not a lot of time, I might add. It's just the game is hindered on that. I'll fully admit. You do find yourself eventually getting good enough to overcome that. So that's at least a positive outlook on a negative thing. Yeah, it's definitely closer to a Mario Kart clone with the combat pickups. It was definitely more mature, Colin, like you said, because there's rockets and machine guns. The asshole rocket with the smiley face, the teeth, it looks like a shark kind of deal. That mimics the blue shell kind of deal. I love how you can stack power-ups, and just like Lego Racers, you can stack them, and it'll level it up and make what I'll dub just ultimate attacks. So, for example, you can stack one attack, and you'll eventually get like this rainbow psychedelic destroy all cars on the courses in front of you thing. And the computer, this is kind of where the difficulty level is unforgiving, is the computer also gets and uses these attacks and power-ups much like a regular racer would.
Yeah, but they do that in Mario Kart too.
Well, they do now. They didn't really in the originals.
Originals or original? Because in Mario 64, I got my ass handed.
I didn't find myself in Mario 64 getting hit with a computer blue shell as much as I would say in this game with the stacked power-ups, like third levels, where it would just destroy all racers in front of you. The AI was very smart in this game, almost to the point where it was frustrating. If that makes any sense.
No, I get it.
But if you're doing well, the good thing is if you're doing well in the race in Speed Freaks, that you'll kick the shit out of them. It wasn't like the Burnout of the Lego Racer where there was always like someone on your ass magically, or the AI was impossible. So I think it was in that sense it was a good balance, Because as soon as you do get good, you'll wreck the game. I quite like that.
So Speed Punks is recommended then?
I never came across any frame drops. The music wasn't very memorable though. I thought the courses were very unique to each other. The game is very colorful. It's always nice. It's always nice to look at. There's always a lot going on. It's definitely one of the harder kind of vehicular combat racing arcade game type deals. But it has a lot of charm. It's tons of fun. There's a reason why you couldn't find it, Colin. I feel.
I wonder. I should check my local store. I think I saw one like a month ago, but I couldn't like Amazon one for some reason. I don't eBay. Well, I eBay sometimes. But how much does this go for? Isn't it like uncommon?
I shall look for you right now.
So I think I'm gonna get mixed up with another PS1 too. There's one racing for PS1 that's like super expensive. I don't know.
It goes for a loose price of $9.
Okay, so it's not the one I'm thinking of. There's one racing
complete price is about $15, so it's affordable.
Yeah.
It is affordable. It gets a pass from me, honestly. A light pass, because the difficulty level does take getting used to, and the racing controls are pretty floaty.
If I find one, I'll pick it up.
What do you say, Colin?
I'll see what I can dig up. I mean, I wouldn't mind playing it.
Neat.
Alrighty.
It has its charm.
I think that calls for a Sonic victory.
Excuse me. What? What is a Sonic victory?
It was the drop I played.
I don't know what it sounds like.
It's the end of the course sound.
Oh, okay. Got you.
Guys are killing me. All right.
I can't hear things.
I recognized it.
I don't hear these things.
So our next game is what I'll say is my pick. And you're going to have to deal with it. It is the original Road Rash.
Okay, never mind. This one's good.
And it came out on a number of systems. It came out on all the Sega systems.
And not the 3DO, I swear to fuck.
Came out on the PlayStation, and it came out on the 3DO. And this game...
It's shit.
It is not. It's a good game.
Specifically the 3DO version. Trash.
No, actually. It's actually, like, the best version.
By far. I would say the part I like about the 3DO version is, like, place, like, standard-ass Arial font they have at the bottom. That's my favorite part about it.
Okay, so it originally came out in 1991, so it's and then later ported to all the CD-based systems. I believe it came out on the Sega Saturn at all. It was developed and published by EA. Have we heard of them, boys?
Yeah, those guys that ruin everything. That's...
Well, they didn't ruin this game because they weren't totally corrupted yet.
Did. Eventually.
The only one they ruined were the ports to the Master System and the Amiga. It was too advanced for those systems.
This came out in the Master System?
It did.
On purpose?
Yeah, on purpose.
Like they meant to port it?
It's not good on those systems. Nothing works.
I would imagine it's not good. That doesn't sound like a good time at all.
I would even say, like, the Sega Genesis, the Mega Drive version, was okay. The music was garbage.
Yeah, but it came out of the 3DO, so it's got a bit better game. Switch. I know how you...
So, the two versions I'm going to focus on here. Like, look, the Mega Drive version works, but it's not great by any means. The versions you want to play are actually the ports to the PlayStation and the 3DO. The 3DO came out in 1994. The PlayStation version came out in 1995. And it's noticeably different. from the full motion videos. You guys like those?
I love those. No.
Genesis version myself.
You played the... Okay, Colin, why don't you tell me about the Genesis version then? Tell me your thoughts.
It wasn't too bad. I mean, for a Genesis game, it was fun. I mean, I kind of liked the personality and vibe it was going for. Like before each race, you get a line of dialogue from one of the other racers. Sometimes it's helpful advice, like from the character Natasha, and other times it's bragging or trash talk, like from Biff.
Right.
Character with a cartoonishly snooty expression, which I thought was pretty funny. And overall, it's a fun racing game, but I don't think I'd play it extensively. I mean, a lot of the combat, at least from what I was able to do, comes down to bashing into the other racers to knock them off the road. No punching, no weapons, nothing. I mean, it can be pretty fun to knock into the other racers, especially into oncoming traffic, but...
So, you really need a new Genesis controller, because your button's broken. Because you can punch and kick. You can even steal weapons from drivers.
Give him the business.
Like a lead pipe.
I'll have to look into that.
Yeah. We discovered in the beat 'em up episode that Colin has a broken button on his Genesis controller, so he's like, it couldn't do this. Yeah, it could.
It's bad.
You're missing a whole part of it.
I couldn't drive the bike.
The bike wouldn't go. I mean, jeez.
I couldn't get the prick floating line to kiss me. This game sucks.
Yeah. I mean, with the Genesis version in particular, with the graphics definitely limited to what it was capable of, especially in the later releases, it just felt like it was Hang On, but more extreme. And Hang On is the up-scrolling racing simulator on a motorbike. So I think the idea was, oh, Hang On was really popular. It's a popular arcade game. Let's make it so now you can punch the guy, punch the other racers. That's kind of all it needed to do. To be more interactive. The I will say I liked the crashes more in the Genesis version.
Oh yeah. You get like flung forward like 20 feet, and then you have to run back to your motorbike to get back on.
Yeah, and I liked how sometimes if you get thrown 20 feet, you'll end up like hitting a post or something. You just the guy just, it looked like a cartoon. They flip 20 times and then bam. Hit a big rock. Okay, so I gotta talk about the superior version now, the 3DO version.
I'm gonna mute my audio for this part.
Oh yeah, I hate you, Kevin. So the limitation of the PlayStation version was things looked a lot more blocky, but the 3DO version, the environment details were so much more in depth and more crisp and clean. The FMVs played even better, which was hilarious because you get this, like, whenever the car would you would wreck the bike or you would win a race, even like in between circuits, you would get these crazy 90s grunge SMVs, a bunch of dudes on their motorbikes, their leather jackets. If you win the race, you get to steal the girl. You just plop her over the top of the bike and then you go off with her. Yeah, the music and sound was miles better, as you can imagine, being a CD-based game than what the Genesis was capable of. There was this crazy, like, Ren and Stimpy's 90s whack art in the menu and loading screens, which is kind of weird. I don't know if you guys saw.
No, it's kind of like grungy and like
I didn't play 3DO version nor PS version. So
yeah. There was like Soundgarden and Monster Magnet playing in the 3DO version and everything. Yeah, it was great. There was so much more environment and things to interact with the updated version. This is definitely a case where these remasters are very much superior. Not like something today where it's just kind of this little small graphical outboost. Like, this felt like a different game almost. One problem I had was you can't memorize the tracks due to the seemingly random surprise element and obstacles during a race. Like you'll never know when an oncoming car is there on the opposite side of the road, and you just hit it. It doesn't kill the game, but it definitely made things annoying as you were progressing. You know, you're doing so well in a race, and all of a sudden, bam, car out of nowhere.
I like that part of it though, because then like the game doesn't really get that.
I think just from the competitive aspect, it would get irritating, and I definitely felt it. I'm not saying it was a bad thing, so to say. I'm just saying it was a little bit annoying. Because you're just like, oh, you couldn't even see the car.
The Genesis popping though, you know?
Oh yeah, it was much worse than the Genesis version for sure. That was very noticeable. It was kind of like playing.
3DO, there was no popping, so.
I mean.
Actually, I think there was, if I remember right.
Yeah, there was a little bit on the 3DO, a little bit.
That wasn't as bad as the almighty genocide.
Yeah. Even on the PlayStation, there was a little bit as well, but the Genesis version was very noticeable and hindering almost at times.
I don't remember if the first one had 2-player or not. I don't think.
No. Multiplayer didn't come until the sequels.
Okay.
Yeah. The password system, because there was no save feature, the password system is straight ass. Yeah, I had to go back to it a couple times.
It's like hidden away in the options, right?
Yeah, it's hidden away in the options, and there's like 25 characters you gotta put in.
Save states, got it.
Same thing with like the zeros and O's and I's and L's and ones. You're just like, oh my god, they all look the same!
Save states!
Ah.
I'm a bad person. I get it.
Yeah, it took over a month for me to get Road Rash on the 3DO in, and luckily this episode, in that sense, because up to that point I'd only played the Genesis version myself, and when it came in and I got the 3DO, I popped it in, and I'm like, oh my god, this is even better than I could have imagined. It's definitely like a reason to get a 3DO. It's like a must-have game for it, I must say. So definitely get your bike helmets and leather jackets on. Steal some 90s chicks, I say. Road Rash gets an amazing pass from me. What do you guys say? You agree? You agree? Please tell me you agree.
Yeah, specifically.
It's a soft fail for me.
You get a soft fail? Oh.
I like it. Is it rock and roll racing? No. But
oh, no. I'll play Phantasy Star Victory. I guess that's my 50-50 on it.
I think you need a Final Fantasy VII victory sound.
We'll do that for a game that we all pass.
Yeah.
Okay. The next game is a pick for someone who's not here.
He's never here. Ignore him.
Well, he's busy. He's got family stuff.
He left us.
Which is... you know what, Kevin? You do this one since you only had the one game pick. You handle this one.
Twisted Metal for the PS1. The game that Colin wanted to play as a child, but... No. This is the adventures of Sweet Tooth and a bunch of other characters nobody cares about. They all engage in deathmatch vehicular combat in order to get a wish from the great and mighty Calypso, and he can grant any wish, no matter what it is, with no side effects whatsoever.
Right?
And it always works out. Here's the plot hole in this game. If they're killing each other in every arena, how come there's multiple levels and they come back?
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, reasons. Shut up, kid.
I think the whole idea and kind of their little kayfabe is even though the racers are back for, or the drivers are back for the arena battles in the kayfabe story, that they're all dying one by one per race until there's 2 left.
Okay, that makes more sense. Fucking kayfabe.
Because
Yeah,
it'd be
Twisted
boring.
Metal's
You
good.
get to the last level and there's only two of you left for this like huge thing. Although that would be a cool like little alternative story mode,
Yeah, if they ever made it.
I suppose.
They should reboot Twisted Metal. It was okay actually, but the essentially it's Mario Kart battle mode. That is the best way I can describe Twisted Metal.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it's a good game. I mostly played 3 as a child.
Me too.
I heard,
Me too.
I heard that's not everyone's favorite, surprisingly, because I thought it was fun.
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. We agree on something. Look at that.
Holy shit! There's a Final Fantasy VII moment.
Well,
Yeah,
since
no,
you...
I like Twisted Metal. I didn't dabble with the first one so much as I did with 3, like I said. And apparently there's a 4th one on PS1. I always forget exists.
That's the one everybody likes.
Yeah, I thought
That
it went
and Black.
from, like, 3 to like Black and Small Brawl, I guess. Small Brawl is okay.
It was alright, yeah.
I've never actually played a Twisted Metal game up to now.
Ooh, starting early.
Its existence since the first game was released, if only because of the awesome cover art, but I never actually got around to playing it. Although I do have a copy of Twisted Metal Black in my possession. The main reason Black stood out to me was because of the TV commercial for it back when it came out, where a freaking airliner comes falling out of the sky on fire. My thoughts at the time were, holy shit, you can do that?
Yeah, pretty much. You can do a lot of things in this game, or at least in the series. It definitely evolved as the years went on, for the better at times, and then just for the worse. It was definitely a game made for the '90s. I feel, because with the new generation of games, it definitely just doesn't. It doesn't have enough depth for today's market. Essentially, this is the first battle royale game, you might say, just with cars. How about that?
I mean, yeah. So what you're telling me is that it's confirmed. Twisted Metal Battle Royale.
Twisted Metal Battle Royale 2019. Bring it. Come on, Santa Monica Studio. Get on that. No, next year. They got to develop it, man.
They've been working on it, trust me.
Oh, yeah, I'm a long-time Twisted Metal fan. I didn't get into the series until Twisted Metal 2. So I'd actually never played the first one before, and it was the only one I've never played. So this was very nice getting to play it for the podcast. And let me just say, the music in Twisted Metal games always stand out to be kick-ass, and the first one was no exception. So I'm going to play a little clip of the music here for you guys.
Oh.
I'm not hearing anything.
Yeah, it's called Asphalt Assault.
Are we supposed to hear it?
Very, very intense. No.
Oh.
Very, very intense, like rockin' music.
I feel like we're getting left out and we're on the fucking show. Oh, the audience. I have these sound clips for everyone to hear, not you two.
Well, fucking move to Rhode Island and live with me, and then we can record together and listen to all
You just
this.
need someone to help pay rent, and I will accept.
I don't. Well, maybe, kinda.
I mean, I'm trying to move out, so maybe. But anyway.
So,
Weekend, but
yeah,
there were
complications.
constraints that I couldn't accommodate.
Yeah. So this game came out in 1995. Basically the mirror of Vigilante 8, as I mentioned earlier in the cast. Developed by Single Track, aka 989 Studios, and published by Sony Computer Entertainment. I don't think the first one has aged well at all, especially with a lot of, it just looked like lots and lots of flat blocks. It reminded me a lot of an N64 game. This was definitely something at the beginning of the PlayStation's lifespan, where they were trying to still figure out a lot of the 3D elements that the console was capable of. Lots of plain text and bars on the screen for the racers. They kind of didn't know what direction to take with that in. We saw that in Road Rash, where it was just a bar with a number on it. Not much identity there. The weapons are simply mostly just missiles and the like, not a lot of depth and that the later games had. I thought the radar system was just ass. It was basically worthless, especially on the level designs. Just a lot of the variety just felt weak. Colin, it was kind of like your complaint with Rock and Roll Racing, where it was just like oil slicks and spikes, and you're kind of done. So I definitely saw, I appreciated where the roots of a lot of the ideas came from, but this was definitely more bare bones than I was expecting, for sure.
I have to agree on that.
But now for the good things. I really liked the urban grunge 90 environments the game was shooting for.
Yeah, I like those too.
I thought the unique characters and drivers were very good, each with a special attack. I didn't so much like how standard a lot of the vehicles were, though. It was like, oh, this guy drives a Ferrari because he's, slick Rick over here, and then Hammerhead drives just a basic monster truck. Nothing special about it or looking. And I think Roadkill just wasn't a jalopy in this game, and he had missiles visibly on the top of the car for his special attack, but even then the car looked plain.
Jalopy.
I thought that car looked the coolest.
Well, it was definitely like one of the more detailed ones, but even then it still seemed kind of odd. And I noticed like a lot of the characters I wasn't too familiar with. Like it seemed like a lot of the same characters that would continue game to game, kind of like Axel, Yellow Jacket, Thumper. These had different characters in these cars. Like Roadkill wasn't a hobo. He was just kind of this 90s grunge guy. Crimson Fury, who drives the Lamborghini, he was just this dude with sunglasses and a leather jacket. Like, those kind of things were very, an identity hadn't been made yet for the series. That it was definitely seen more in Twisted Metal 2 and on, for sure.
So it's a good game.
I mean, I appreciated the roots, but much like kind of in Burnout 2, I just wanted to play all the other games more, because this one was just lacking in so many things. It was very bare bones and bland, even though the appeal, you could see a lot of the appeal of why you wanted to play a game like this, especially in 1995. Like if I had a PlayStation in 1995 and I wanted a game like this would have been good. But as it stands now, with 7 other Twisted Metal games out, even the bad ones that came out later are better than this one, I think.
Yes, we can all play the wonderful 2012 reboot.
I think that's better than this one.
That game controls like butt.
This game controls like butt.
You control like butt.
Yeah. Yeah, I found the cars pretty hard to control, and aiming the machine guns was a real chore. It's just overall pretty unforgiving in those aspects. I could never get past the 3rd level as a result of that.
Are you referring to the rooftop?
Nope.
You aren't isn't that the 3rd level, or is that the 4th level?
Remember.
That must be the 4th level. There's only like 6 levels in the game, so even then that was only 6 levels in the game. That was limited, as opposed to like the 12 or something that came later minimum. And with the environments all kind of looking the same and limited, like even the different levels didn't even feel like they had much variety to them.
Although I went ahead and watched all of the endings on YouTube for each of the characters.
Oh, that was the whole reason why I played the story mode and used different characters. Yeah, what were some of your favorite endings, Colin? I'm very curious.
These are all filmed in live action.
Uh-huh.
Funniest was Sweet Tooth's ending. He's looking for his best friend, and it turns out to be a paper bag.
Sounds like something this fucking game would do.
Yeah. And then I forget who it was. It was like one of the characters. We want babes.
That's I think those were Hammerhead, the monster truck dudes.
Oh yeah.
That sounds like them. Memory serves. Even though it went on to an old lady later. I think it was their grandmother. She ends up getting in the monster truck in later games. I don't know. There was some continuity there. They tried to explain.
Yeah.
Old ladies in monster truck.
All right. So what was your problem with level 3, Colin?
Too many cars at once. I just couldn't quite shoot all of them. I think the narrow corridors had something to do with that. It wasn't like the first 2 levels that had wide open areas. You couldn't really do U-turns very well in this level, and that created a lot of problems for me.
Right. I liked how you could run over the drivers and random people on the street after you kill them.
They deserve it.
They deserve it. They tried to kill you. No mercy.
No mercy's not on this list. Come on now.
Yeah, it must have been the 4th level though that I got to, because that's whichever one is the rooftop level. Where you're just driving on the rooftops of buildings. Fuck that level. There was 1 and 2 that is just like it. Basically, if you fall off the building, it's instant death and it's game over. Like, fuck off with the ass controls. I hated it. That's what killed me on this game, like, forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I can give 2 a pass because there's a lot of different levels to play, and you can eventually get past that. This one is just straight impossible, I found. I hated it so much. Yeah. It almost ruined the game for me. Completely. I was like, great, I can't get any of the endings because I can't get past this goddamn rooftop level. I just keep falling off or getting knocked off, or I accidentally use a jump special, because if you input like left, right, up, right, correct, that you'll jump the car, and if you're going and you're just like, oh, I want to go left, oops, I want to turn right, you'll jump and I fly off the building. I'm like, son of a bitch.
Oh shit.
Controls, man.
Yeah, it was just not a good combination by any means. So this game, like I appreciated playing the first one and seeing where the roots of one of my favorite franchises of all time comes from, but this game gets a fail, unfortunately. I can't pass it.
Poo.
I have to agree.
Poo.
Street Fighter Death Time. Alrighty. So now, instead of going crazy in depth into these games, I think they kind of go without saying, is 3 very popular and synonymous vehicular combat games, and that's, we'll start with Super Mario Kart.
It's Mario Kart. What can you say?
But what did you think of the first one? Since it is the roots of the franchise, the long running franchise. People love it. What do you think of the Super Nintendo version?
It's pretty good. I mean, I saw a lot of similarities between it and Mario Kart 64, which is the one I ended up playing the most growing up.
Yeah, a lot of people did. That's for sure.
It's fun to see where the different aspects of it came through, like the right corner showing you what place you're in. That looked very similar. Some of the sound effects sounded exactly the same. It's kind of interesting that you had Donkey Kong Jr. instead of just Donkey Kong.
Right. Well, that was also when they were distinguishing between the characters too.
Yeah, it's all the characters' designs, they looked very crisp. The controls were fairly tight. The power-ups kind of limited compared to future games, but this is the first one. What can you do?
Yeah, the power-ups are definitely limited. One trick of the game, which I always tell people, they get very frustrated with the speed control of the game. You end up going too fast and you can't make certain turns, so they end up hitting the brake, but that slows you down to a halt, where it's a simple just let go of the gas and then turn. and then you're golden. The game is
Nice.
super easy from there. It does suffer from there's always an AI on your ass, especially on the later levels as you go through the circuit. But the game is very simple. You can I find myself beating it in one simple short sitting. But yeah, it's definitely Mario Kart. It's got its little battle mode, which is fun. Shoot the person with weapons, and they got 2 or 3 balloons, depending. I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, like Super Nintendo Mario Kart was definitely a major part of my childhood and a lot of friends who had a Super Nintendo. What about you, Kevin? Do you play this game at all, or do you just
No, I find this game incredibly boring now.
Really?
It's too basic compared to like new Mario Karts, so I just kind of let it be.
Oh, yeah.
So do you think people overrate the game nowadays based on nostalgia?
Yeah, definitely. Like, oh, without a doubt, actually.
There you go.
64 is the more well remembered of the two.
Yeah, and I don't love the N64, but I'd rather play it.
Yeah, and even then, you can play later games like Double Dash or even the new one, Mario Kart 8, where they have basically the levels from Mario Kart 64.
That I don't get a full screen when I play, which is annoying as shit.
Yeah, that is weird. There's it's split. It's always split screen with the course and map on the bottom. I don't like that either.
That's a Nintendo-ass decision right there.
Yeah,
Like
they were definitely trying to figure out what they wanted to do with the series.
They're trying to be like, look at all the things the Super Nintendo could fit on the screen. We're like, I don't fucking care.
I wonder if they knew this game was going to be as popular as they thought.
I mean, they threw Mario. They don't do for anything. It seems like they do, but they don't put Mario in something unless they're like, this is gonna be good, because they want to protect them.
I don't know. Wasn't this technically the first spin-off Mario game?
Mario teaches typing.
Oh, there was a bunch of ones before that, and they were ass. They were pretty ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Oh, they don't put Mario in just anything.
Excuse me. You have a point. Wait, those weren't Nintendo developed games.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Now I don't look like a fool.
So the next game is just quick. The next game is Crash Team Racing on the PlayStation, 1999 by Naughty Dog. And my main note of this game is lay down those ass weapons.
Yeah.
Because they all fire, you just poop them out. Every weapon is basically a poop out.
That's why the Crash Bandicoot's codename was Sonic Ass Game. That's a real thing, by the way.
Wow, I've never heard that before.
Yeah, look at the codename for Crash Bandicoot during development. They called it Sonic's Ass.
Well, I mean, I have a heavy love for Crash Team Racing. I will admit the weapon system has a lot to be desired, but the level designs, the characters, and somehow the story mode is what got me. Like the little adventure mode that they put in the game.
It's better than the game we're gonna bring up next.
I wish the weapons had more variety to it, because let's face it, the majority of the weapons you just kind of poop underneath your car, and then that's kind of it. It's heavily, I think it's more heavily reliant on the racing than the combat. The combat is just kind of laying down obstacles itself. Very much different compared to, say, Super Mario Kart. Especially since Mario Kart 64 was already out, so they knew what projectiles were. You know?
Yes, they never knew what a projectile was. Like, what are guns?
Well, Colin, what did you think of Crash Team Racing?
It feels like a more satisfying experience than Mario Kart on the Super Nintendo, and it has more of a sense of humor about itself.
Okay.
It's basically Mario Kart 64, but with a more emphasis on single player.
Yes.
From what
hence that adventure mode. Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with that.
I can say other than that. I mean, you kind of sprung it on us at the last minute, so I couldn't pick up a copy anywhere. I just
it's fine. It's fine. Yeah. So the last game is
Ooh.
Diddy Kong Racing on the N64, a game people have been clamoring for a sequel. Came out in 1997, so right in between our Super Mario Kart and Crash Team Racing. This game was originally developed as kind of this adventure, like random animal type game, and then they just added in seemingly a couple rare seemingly added a few of their characters. Like Conker wasn't an asshole yet; he looked like this cute kind of squirrel character, and a lot of characters we don't recognize.
Yeah, I didn't know who any of these people were. That's what everyone's. These characters, I'm like, who the fuck is this Tiger Cub? I've never seen him before.
Who the hell is Drumstick?
Yeah.
And why isn't he a real character in something later down the line? You would think that there would be much potential in some of these characters in games.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Is Tiny Kong in this version? I don't know if you remember or not.
I think she was in Donkey Kong 64.
Well, she wasn't that, but the reason I bring it up is that for some reason, hey furries, this one's for you, is that in the DS version of this game, they made like Tiny Kong like sexy, and it's weird. And I'm not saying like I find her sexy. They just like gave her like a skimpy top and bottom. I'm like, why? So
kind of the Peach and Rosalina effect kind of deal.
Worse, like they tried to make her look like a straight.
The Sonic fan fiction type area.
Yes.
Oh boy.
They developed the plot of the DS version.
What was unique about this was it wasn't just cars; it was also planes and hovercraft race levels. I think that made it different, unique. It was pretty cool. The adventure mode was really weird, especially looking at it compared to Crash Team Racing. I mean, it was fine. It had a purpose, but like grabbing keys off track in the middle of the race instead of being on the track or through like a shortcut or something, that was odd. I thought the combat system was incredibly limited, even more so. You had a red balloon or a blue balloon to choose from, a missile or a speed boost.
An oil spill. There's also oil spills.
Oh, there was.
Yeah, and you know, if you run over the same color, it keeps upgrading it. I think you can do it like 3 times.
Yeah. So they stack. It's very much like the Lego game we talked about earlier.
So
I thought every track was generic as shit.
Yeah, they are. Can we also mention this game is just ugly?
Well, you say that about every N64 game.
Yeah, but this is like specifically ugly. Like,
I didn't think it was that ugly. I thought it was quite colorful. It had some charm to it.
Oh, it's colorful, but I don't know. Like Diddy looks off. Like,
Does he?
I don't know. He doesn't look right in this game. I don't know. Even like other rare characters like Banjo, like Conker looks fine.
Well, Conker looks like a cute little squirrel. He needs to be throwing up the finger in this game, if you ask me.
Well, it's canon. It's canon that Conker was not during the filming of this game. He went on a bender.
He won a heavy milk binge, and that changed his personality.
Yes, milk, the great Nintendo alcoholic drink. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I just think like this is like the definition to me of like an. Ew.
I mean, people loved it. I mean, I remember playing it quite a bit with friends growing up. The competitive value of the races were definitely there. Just trying to beat the cheap ass bosses in the adventure mode. It has its charm. It has its place, but it's not a great game by any means. No. That's for sure. I would agree, Kevin.
It's fun with friends. I'll give it that. But like, I have no desire to like go back and finish the adventure mode. I'm just like, okay, listen, Mr. Hindu Elephant, you're on your own.
He is a Hindu elephant, isn't he? Yep. Yeah, the main adventure mode, this like Hindu elephant helps you out and guides you throughout the adventure. It's really odd. He even has that Hindu accent thing going on. Why'd you go over here?
Fucking magic carpet.
He does. Oh, that is funny.
Funny now. Back then, I was like, "Why is Aladdin an elephant, Daddy?"
You're absolutely right. I got the video up in the live stream right now. Oh, it's so funny. He even has a turban.
Oh, jeez.
Come again.
Thank you. Come race again.
You know what the thing is? This came out today. Oh, this is cultural appropriation. I can hear them now.
All right. So the 3 games put together, I think they have a good place. At least in my heart and a lot of people's nostalgia. I think they hold up for the most part. I don't think they're as good as people remember. But they're definitely great for the time they came out in, I feel.
I will say, a lot of people do rely on nostalgia for these games because we all like rented them growing up. But this is a genre that's really like a multiplayer focused thing.
Oh, for sure.
By yourself, it gets kind of sad and lonely. And
so for nostalgia purposes, I'll play the Final Fantasy theme.
Ah, yes.
Alrighty. So we've reached the point in the podcast. Well, wait a minute. I have a question.
Oh, goddamn! I'm hungry.
I have a question. We are. It hasn't been totally 100% confirmed, but apparently we're getting a Star Fox racing game.
Yeah. Okay.
For the Switch.
That's what everyone wanted. Good.
Right.
Right. Yeah. It's not F-Zero. They were like, space. Hold on, we're getting there. Let's see. Star Fox. I'm getting there. Hold on. F-Zero crossover. No. It makes too much sense. That can't be right. What do we do? I could just picture that board meeting. Fucking Miyamoto snorting coke off some stripper. I got it.
So yeah, we're getting a Star Fox racing game from Nintendo. For reasons, I guess. The only way I could see it working is if they make it like a pod racing type thing in space.
And they're gonna have motion controls where you gotta look down at the controller.
I don't know. Seems odd, right?
Yeah.
It seems like an odd choice. And then that brings up the point: Microsoft owns Rare.
Right.
Diddy Kong 2.
Well, they own Rare, and so what? The rumor I heard back in the day when I was paying attention to this stuff, is that Microsoft bought Rare because they thought they were gonna get Donkey Kong with it. And they were like, no, Donkey Kong's a Nintendo character. So like somebody didn't do their research. They're like, fuck.
Well, I mean, okay, you can still make like a Diddy Kong 2, but you can use other characters. Like you don't have to call it. You can have a spiritual successor. If they want a car combat racing game, you can have Conker, Banjo. You can bring back, Drumstick. You can. Oh, what do you mean? They have the Rare. It's on Rare Replay.
Right, those are Rare properties. Oh, you're saying Nintendo making it, or
no, Microsoft.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Like you can bring back all those dumb animal characters. You can bring back like Drumstick and the Badger and who else, and then you can add. You can put Blinks in there.
You can put first off no. Then you can put Lucky from Super Lucky Tale.
Yeah, exactly. Have a little rivalry with Conker.
Yeah, fucking put Blinks in there. He'd be the roadkill as an Easter egg.
But you see, like I don't know, we're getting Star Fox from Nintendo instead of F-Zero, and then Microsoft won't use Rare properly at all. They have them making this shitty pirate game that turned out.
Hey, come on, that game came out.
It did. I don't know. It just seems like odd decisions. But anyways, I just thought I'd. Colin, do you have any thoughts on this matter at all?
Not particularly. I mean, I remember playing Diddy Kong Racing at my cousin's place way back in the day, and it was kind of fun just being able to do planes and hovercrafts as well as the cars. I thought that was pretty cool at the time.
Mm.
But yeah, it wasn't that memorable of a game to me.
Sweet.
All right, so we've reached the point in the podcast to go through the games one more time, and then we'll pick our favorite and least favorite. We covered Rock and Roll Racing on the Super Nintendo, Burnout 2 on the PS2, Speed Freaks on the PlayStation, otherwise known as Speed Punks.
Speed Punks.
Road Rash on the 3DO.
Fuck off.
And all these Sega systems.
In PlayStation.
And PlayStation. Twisted Metal on the PlayStation. Lego Racers on the N64 and PlayStation. And then briefly talked about and covered Super Mario Kart on the Super Nintendo, Crash Team Racing on the PlayStation, and Diddy Kong Racing on the N64. What was your favorite and least favorite, Colin?
I am going to have to say best goes to Crash Team Racing. Like I said, it just feels like a more satisfying experience than Mario Kart. And has a good single player from what I can see, so gets the best one from me. Although second best goes to Burnout 2.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Least favorite?
Least favorite, I'm going to say Rock and Roll Racing.
Ooh, Kevin, another pick gets in the hate pile.
Just didn't have as much value for me as with the rest of them.
What about you, Kevin?
For best title, I will say Twisted Metal.
Okay,
best
title.
That's a fucking awesome title.
Dude, that music. Kevin, what about you?
My turn. Best. Rough. I'm probably gonna say Twisted Metal.
Wow.
I don't know. Just fun. To be fair, it is the most combat-y of all these.
True.
So there's that.
Fair enough.
Least favorite. Are we counting Diddy Kong, Mario Kart, and Crash Team?
Yeah.
Oh, then
why not?
Fuck Diddy Kong.
Yeah, as soon as I announced that, you're just like, God, I hate that game.
My backup was gonna be Lego Racers. I don't know. It's there.
I think mine was pretty easy to choose here. My favorite was definitely turned out to be Road Rash on the 3DO. I thought easily going into this, either Crash Team Racing or Speed Punks was going to take it. But I was so pleasantly surprised with 3DO version with Road Rash. It just took me away. I'm so happy I have it now. Not expecting it at all. And then
Who hurt you as a child that you like the 3DOs?
I like retro gaming, Kevin.
Who
and
hurt you?
Everyone likes FMV games. They're the future.
Yeah, all your stuffed animals. You sit around for a tea party. Come on, guys.
Hey, just because 3 ran away doesn't mean I don't have friends. All right, Mr. Buttersworth helps me out making pancakes every morning. Kevin, you gotta calm down. I'm gonna go into photosynthesis now and ignore your comments.
It's Mrs. Butterworth. They don't get those operations.
It's 2018. I will not be denied.
Are you assuming my search?
The worst goes to Lego Racers. I just did not have fun with the game. My most fun was just fucking around in the custom Lego building mode, and for a car combat or even racing, it was just I was not having fun with that at all. When I have to try and break the game and abuse mechanics just to win and move on, that's not a good sign. So Lego Racers gets the stinker. So we all had different picks all around. So no big stinker award here today.
Shout out to WWE Crush Hour.
If we covered that would have been definitely the worst one.
Nope.
Yeah.
No, honorable mention.
Honorable shit mention.
Honorable mention is Destruction Derby.
Yes.
That would be another one. Yeah.
Muppets Racer on PS1.
You know, there's a combat racer I rented at Target in the 90s for the PlayStation.
From Target?
From Target.
You could rent games from Target?
At one point, you could have, yeah.
Oh, weird. Didn't know that.
And I really liked the game. I can't, for the life of me, remember the title. I know it was a kind of it reminded me a lot of Super Mario Kart in the way the courses were laid out and the way it played. And there was a particular weapon that you could use where it was like a homing mini helicopter that would then pick up the guy in front of you if you lined it up correctly, and he would bring that guy back to your spot. You wouldn't trade, you would just bring him back, and you'd be then in tow. That was one attack I remember vividly.
Oh, yeah, this doesn't sound familiar at all.
Yeah, I remember that game renting from Target in the 90s, but I've never seen it, or I can't find it online what the title was. It's just one of those car combat games that I liked with a rental for about a month, and then it just disappeared from my life.
Weird.
Yeah. I figured it was worth bringing up. So, this has been episode 21 of the Red Leaf Retrocast. Vehicular Combat episode, hype for E3 and the like. Neo Geo Mini's coming out. I'm super excited for it. You can find this podcast live during recordings, Bowling JD, Twitch, Mixer. And you can find the podcast themselves in better quality and the full download on Podbean, iTunes, Google Play Radio, and all your other favorite podcasting outlets. We're still getting approved for Spotify, so hope fingers crossed on that one. And
dig.
So please join us in the next one. I hope you had fun. Thank you.
Yeah.
There you go. 248, not bad.
Ugh, I am fucking starving.
I am right there with you, Kevin.
All right, let me export this before it goes bye-bye. Hold on. Let's see. Car parts. Car combat. Neato.
Jaguar.
Chris Benoit, what?
Jaguar. I don't know. I watched the Godzilla movie last night.
Yes, I've made that mistake.
Fucking awesome. Jaguar! Jaguar, no!
It's Godzilla.
It's Godzilla!
No, it's not Godzilla. It's a monster that looks like Godzilla.
Oh, man. That was good. Okay. Who has the next theme pick? I'm sorry, guys. I couldn't. I had it all lined up with the guest, and he forgot the week the first time, so he had a scheduling conflict, and then he's like, no, I can't do it that weekend because Mother's Day, and then I was like, all right, so, 2 week plan for 2 weeks, and then he goes, no, oh my god, something came up, can you do like Tuesday night? I'm like, you know what, forget it, scratch it. He's like, oh, sorry, man. I was like, oh my god, what a waste. Just always yeah, and then when I just one double, I'm like, hey, I was so, it's like, hey, you good for next weekend? Yeah. Then I check like 3 days earlier. No, can't do it anymore. I'm like, well, then you're not even trying anymore, so fuck it.
Yeah, fuck him.
Yeah.
Well, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, not all guests work out.
It's cool. So who's got the next theme?
That's what I was looking at. Let's see here. You do, Kevin.
I pick games that are more than fucking 15 years old. Or less than.
That's not a retro theme.
Oh, fuck. Hold on. Give me a second. Let me look at my shelf. Okay. No. You guys would hate me for that one. Mm-hmm.
Would we?
It was going to be like games like Rainbow Six and fucking that, so. Let's see.
Games like Rainbow Six?
Like, I was going to go full America military. Okay. I got
the podcast theme is just Merca.
Look, I'm not against that. How about... I was going to say, like... Alright, this is going to be weird and broad, but like... No, I don't want to do that. I was going to say, like, arcade games, like fucking Asteroids and, like, shit. And Sinistar, but I have a better idea.
Okay.
I'm looking at my shelf. Give me a second. Yes.
It's the 20th. That would line up the next cast with June 3rd-ish.
Okay. Alright. Got it. Got my theme. Ready?
Okay.
Fair away.
But the problem is, so you gotta, this is specific. The theme is same name, different game. So both of your picks are like the same title game, but the games are completely different. So like I'm gonna pick Dick Tracy for NES, but also Dick Tracy for Genesis. You feel me? You get it? It's like two totally different games, but the same name.
Oh,
There's plenty of these.
are there?
Oh, dude, yeah. There's a whole YouTube series called Same Name, Different Game if you need inspiration.
That would be very helpful.
Same name, different game.
Yeah, like think about like Dick Tracy, totally two different games on NES and Genesis. One's really fun.
Oh, okay. All right, I feel you now. So like a Mega Man game would qualify, or Castlevania from like the 64 from the NES.
Yeah, I was doing straight same name, but yeah, no, that was too.
Well, they are like it's Castlevania,
yeah, like,
but
you're right. Yeah, like
yeah,
Castlevania for instance. Yeah, like
yeah. For the N64 is definitely a way different game than yeah. Okay, then I'll pick Ninja Gaiden on the NES and Master System.
I mean, even if you did like Ninja Gaiden, NES to Xbox, like things like that. You get the idea, Colin?
I get the idea. I just don't have any titles that come to mind.
There's a bunch of YouTube videos on this.
Yeah. Or you could even do like Star Fox, like 64 to Star Fox Super Nintendo.
Okay.
Like
all right. Same name, different game. That's cool. That's thinking outside the box. I like that.
Yeah. Or even if you did like the Super Nintendo to Genesis versions of games, Batman Return.
So your first pick's Dick Tracy?
Yeah, but like here's the thing, those are both. You know what I'm saying?
Those are both what?
Like those are my two picks: Dick Tracy for NES, Dick Tracy for
right.
Genesis. Yeah.
Okay.
And that
Get back to you guys on this one.
Got you.
Super Nintendo was the other one?
I'm sorry?
Super Nintendo was the other one?
What do you mean for mine? No,
yeah.
Nintendo and Genesis. Original Nintendo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like, they gotta be different. Like if you pick like a Mania the kind of the same game. Like
yeah, I suppose Ninja Gaiden Genesis or Master System still essentially the same Ninja Gaiden game.
Yeah. But like if you pick like Atari Lynx Ninja Gaiden versus the NES, those are super different. Like one's like the arcade beat 'em up, and the other one's a
right.
Yeah. So I trust you guys. I feel like you can figure it out.
Dick Tracy. Oh, that's gonna be interesting. Okay.
Let me tell you, Genesis one's real fucking good.
All right. Yeah, I'll definitely think on it for sure. I like that.
Colin, if you need inspiration, might I suggest Genesis?
I didn't quite catch that. You were breaking up.
Yeah, I do that a lot. If you need inspiration, Ghostbusters for Genesis versus Ghostbusters for Nintendo. Those are very different games.
Oh, that's for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But I won't make your mind for you. I'm just ideas. All right.
Actually, a pretty good idea.
There you go.